Hello and welcome once again to the Lifestream D&D campaign, Lockdown in Dunreen. I am your DM, Hesper, and tonight we're joined by... Which way do I want to do this? I'll look across this way. Cados?
Hello, I play Raine.
Feugy?
Hey, that's me, a Remy.
Aster?
Hi, I'm Aster, and I play Ryan, the Warlock monk rogue. Hello? Jesus, Discord. Hi, good start.
Yeah, mess up on you again?
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Carry
But
on.
anyways, as I was saying, no Dunsen again tonight. Where did it cut off at?
Lani's intro? Raine's intro? What? Someone. Was I the last one?
No, Lani was the last one.
Lani's
So,
intro, then. Yeah.
well, there you go, Lani. You want to repeat what you said?
It's me, I'm Lani. I play Roux.
I think that's the clearest you've been on this intro, Lani.
Yeah, wow. Lani really gave it her all.
And I guess tonight, technically, I'm playing Dunsen with the also great quality of staring at walls.
He had
I like the
Twilight
idea of just
mushroom.
yeah, I like the idea of we just put Dunsen in a bottle and just only let him out whenever he needs to do one of his characteristic Dunsen things, like speaking to a guard.
Or speaking to his mouse.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, if you guys have to have Dunsen do something, he's there. I'm just playing it off as that he's just surveying the room and making sure bad shit isn't going to happen because he's in a place that he's not probably fairly comfortable with considering his position. Anywho, back to the synopsis. Last time, after you guys got done talking to let's see here,
Zedu?
Boulder Biter.
Oh, Boulder
No,
Biter.
Boulder Biter. You guys were talking. You guys were standing outside of his abode. Took a look around for a little bit, and Ryan noticed off in the distance to the south something awkward. As you guys proceeded down that way, you guys learned eventually through Remy's use of dwarven knowledge, um, which I'll have to bring that up to you again later, Yugi. But anyways, that the area looks like it was a cave in of some kind. We weren't sure about how far down the cave in went or where it leads to or something. Just know that on the other end it was open because you were feeling a breeze of cool air coming through. After sending in Squeakers to 14th, who got about 7 minutes worth of really tight squeezing through rocks and such, and making his way back, um, trying to remember which way he came from. Eventually, couldn't proceed very far in, basically. Um, the group then decided that maybe find somebody like Zedu and see what's going on. Coming up and eventually finding him after 30 minutes. It was a little bit harder than you guys anticipated. Finding him, once again, kind of patrolling around with his kobold crew. Uh, After that, uh, you guys started talking to him and managed to convince him for a pretty steep price of 250 gold to essentially follow you guys and dig out whatever this cave in was. Um, After agreeing to the terms and giving him in full payment, after him telling you, well, he could get other kobolds, um, he then left a couple of kobolds there. I think I said about four, and they were just piddling around in the rocks, waiting for them to come back. And I need to mute my phone. Um, and basically, went to go take their newest haul back to their probably assuming nest, hoard, whatever you want to, whatever it was. Um, After doing that, you guys decided it's about time to investigate this tavern, inn, whatever it was, building that was built into the
Hesper,
cliffside.
this is your place. Hold on. You gotta be decisive. What is it?
No, this was you guys kind of trying to figure out what it was. You guys weren't quite sure at the time what it was. No, this isn't. This
Okay.
isn't a me thing. This is. I'm saying. I'm from your perspective.
Okay, sure. Whatever.
Anyways, as you guys proceeded to get closer, you noticed a little ways off in the distance a tunnel leading out, guarded by a hobgoblin and a bugbear. Uh, didn't do anything with that though. You guys then proceeded into the inn. Tavern inn, I guess we'll call it. Where the first floor was basically full of a bunch of shady characters. Very gruff and tumble. The bartender sitting there, eye patch over his right eye, giant scar across the left back end of his head. Not very much used to you guys. Wasn't divulging any information. Giant Goliath seemed to be guarding the stairwell leading up. You guys tried to negotiate with the pleasantries of alcohol, but instead Remy got it slapped back in his face and drenched in booze. Afterwards, the group deliberating on what to do eventually decided maybe we'll see if we can get some other people to fight him, and managed to get a uh, an orc and two bugbears. Yeah, that's right, an orc and two bugbears to assault the Goliath. After tricking them into believing that you've blessed them with magical strength, they went in and tried to beat up said Goliath, who you eventually found out later his name was Dawnbreaker, uh, as he threw one across the room, slammed another one's head into the wall, and kicked another one into another patron. Dwarf jumps up on the table and yells bar fight as this crazy ass bar fight pursues. You guys managed to sneak your way upstairs with Remy and Dunsen getting pelted a few times by this bar fight. Making your way eventually up to the second floor, where you guys then found out that it seems like the higher up that you go, the higher quality, I guess it
The
is.
class.
Yeah, kind of finding out that this is like a class system, and making your way up to the second floor. You guys managed to interrogate a half elven man after some promises of fun from Ryan, uh, leaving him basically gagged, knocked out, and in a room with a broken lock. After disabling the lock, the group then tries to figure their way out of getting upstairs. Eventually, figuring Raine eventually manages to bribe her way upstairs for 400 pieces of gold. Speaking of which, did you take off the amount of gold that you paid for both of those,
Yes.
Cados? Okay, I'm just making sure I wasn't. Sorry
Today,
about that.
Cados lost 600 pieces of gold.
600
Lose it
pieces
50.
of gold.
Yeah.
Anyways, wasn't sure. I was just making sure. Anyways, after which you guys headed. She headed upstairs. The rest of you tried to follow suit, but seemed like the bartender was starting to catch on to you guys. And Goblin was like, "Sorry, can't let you up. I'm being watched, and I don't want to get fired from my cushy gig, basically." Uh, and eventually, coming down the stairs, eventually a higher class from this establishment, dwarf, managed to come down the stairs and having a nice chat with him. Remy convinced him to allow you guys to be taken up to the upper floors. As we pick up where Raine is basically standing on the top of the stairs, trying to figure out how she's going to get the others up, and the others making their way upstairs escorted by this dwarven. Well, what? Not quite sure what floor he's basically on, equivalent, but basically one of the patrons of this establishment. As you make your way up to the third floor, um, looking out, you guys notice that once again, yes, this is a much finer establishment, a lot more well-to-do, dressed. But comparing them to your dwarven escort, and he seems to be a bit better dressed than the rest of these. So he seems a little off on this floor. He was definitely off on the floor below, by the way. But as you guys make your way up and looking around, just different established, groups and such of people in different areas. Seems like the grouping is a lot more close knit here. Um, Not quite sure why. The bartender here um, is very interesting. Elven features, but dark, pale, gray skin, and a platinum white hair trickles down her back. As she is serving current patrons at the bar. Uh, you notice, like I said, the balcony that leads out. Patrons are out there. The balcony is where you noticed something possibly interesting before, as as you guys stand kind of in this area. Like I said, it seems pretty nice. Um, what do you guys plan on doing?
Any ideas?
I think for once Ryan is staying quiet because he knows this isn't his scene to make.
What was the name of the dwarf we came up with?
You did not ask for his name.
What a surprise.
All right, well, I'm just gonna tell him. Well, thanks for getting me up here, boss.
He turns towards you as he's still walking forwards, and he turns towards you and very puzzled by what you mean by that. And he shakes his head and he goes, "Oh no, no, we're not stopping here. Come, follow me." As he
Yes.
starts walking, kind of keeping an eye on you guys after that statement, starts making his way across the floor to the next set of stairs, which in front of this set of stairs, something completely different. Very odd too looking. Almost kind of looks like in somewhat of kind of like the floor below is like nice dressed. This floor is he's basically wearing which is equivalent to a butler's outfit. And once again, the here instead of a rope though, there seems to be iron crossed bars that run in front of the stairs. And this dragonborn is standing in front of him, arms crossed behind his back, as this dwarf makes his way over to this dragonborn. Once again, keeping an eye on you guys and motioning for you guys to follow.
Arms crossed behind his back. Is he like tied up?
No, like kind of like has his arms like as a butler, kind of like behind the
Oh,
small of
okay,
his back.
okay. Okay, I see
Like
what you mean.
respectfully, like almost like military kind of way.
More like good day, sir butler kind of
Okay.
posture. He's not holding anything, so I seem to be kind of closed. So yeah.
I'm gonna like make sure I follow them and pretend I'm not really pretend because I am part of the group, but pretend that I was following along. Like I did not just snuck up on the stairs.
Okay.
And put my hood over my head. So I hope that the dwarf doesn't recognize me.
Yeah,
He
I'm
had
just
glanced at me. He didn't even look at me. He just walked by. So hopefully he thinks I'm just like a lesser race that he doesn't have to recall what my face looks like.
All right. Well, what are the rest of you guys doing? Besides Dunsen, because I guess Dunsen's just going where the majority of the group's going.
I'm following Remy's lead, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow too for now.
I'm following the door.
All right. He eventually makes his way up to the gate, and as he does, he turns towards the Dragonborn and holds up his credential that you guys have seen before. You know, this pocket watch with instead of that looks like it was finely made, but on the front of it seems to be some emblem or insignia carved into it, like after the fact, after it was made.
Am I able to
And
get a sneak peek of what the symbol is?
uh, oof. To get a good clear look, you would have to do an investigation. I can let you roll perception and see if you can find out. It's kind of hard because it's kind of small and how he's holding it compared to where you guys are standing at. I would say perception at disadvantage, but I would probably tell you probably won't gain a whole lot of information out of it. So
Let's do
totally
it.
up to
I'm
you.
just sneaking a peek.
Sneaking a peek.
Mm.
13. It like I said, it's kind of hard to follow the cuts exactly, just
Yeah.
from far, how far you are, not able to really take a look at it. Um, the and not to mention the design that was originally on this pocket watch makes it even harder for you to distinguish which lines go where. Um, so not a really great feeling of having an idea of what this insignia looks like.
I'm getting the
Um,
feeling as a player that it's like geometric and ornate.
mm, it kind of looks, for the most part, geometric. Yes. Um,
Hmm.
it doesn't look like a specific kind of It doesn't specifically reach out to you exactly what it is. But anyways, um, as he holds up the watch, the Dragonborn opens his eyes and he goes, "Yes. So you." And the dwarf's like, "I," goes, "I," and the other two dwarfs and those two humans, and shoo, away with you, as he motions towards you, Raine.
Oh no, she's part of my crew too. She was already up here.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Could I help him by wrapping my... Oh, never mind. You got
That's a
this.
good persuasion.
He goes, "All right, fine, but next time don't spring any surprises on me."
Oh, sorry, wasn't really surprised. Just she's part of my crew. Just used to her being around. Didn't think anything of it.
Well, I will definitely tell you, try to avoid springing surprises, especially on where we're going.
Oh, hey,
Anywho,
Hesper. You might want to change the scene that we're on. We're still in the
oh,
caterpillar.
God bless. I was not paying any attention.
it kind of like dulls a little of his
The immersion,
threat.
yeah.
Yeah, I just realized, I was like, oh, I should say something.
Yeah, I should have had you guys on the other page, and I just completely and totally
Yeah, you're cool,
blanked
man.
out. Anywho, as I was saying, as you guys manage to proceed, he gives you, like I said, the nod and such, and explains this, and he turns towards the Dragonborn and he goes, "And I guess apparently the half elf that I didn't know about." And he goes, "Yes, I see. One moment, please." And he turns towards the gate and waves his hands in front of it, speaking an incantation. Once again, Raine is the only one who understands it because because he's actually speaking in Draconic for this.
Oh, okay.
He speaks. Basically, the incantation is yeah. Basically, yeah.
We're coming
Those
up with it on the spot.
Yeah, kind of. I wasn't thinking about it too much. Those sworn to the stonecutters let thee pass, and the bars just seem to just slide out of sight, and the entrance to the stairs is open as he waves a hand to motion to go upstairs and gives you all a slight bow as the dwarf begins to make his way upstairs, and I guess apparently followed by you guys.
I'm gonna take note of that incantation to like write it down later.
Okay. You did notice that he was doing some hand signs. If you're wanting to try to memorize those hand signs, I would say that you would need to roll an intelligence check
Okay.
to see how well you were able to follow along. Just a
Can I
Actually,
assist
do
her in
it.
some way? And I will argue with you that I'm familiar with hand signs, being a ninja.
Well, I would say actually make it Arcana.
Arcana?
And yeah, make it Arcana, and I know you would argue that, but this is kind of her spur of the moment, and she's the only
Yeah.
one who understood the original incantation of the
Sure,
words.
yeah.
So it's not that you don't know magic; it's that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you were able to follow pretty well the hand signals, and you feel pretty comfortable. The somatic components of this, and you feel pretty comfortable with it.
Okay.
She doesn't need your help.
Yeah,
Thank
fair
you,
enough.
though.
As you guys, as I said, you proceed to make your way upstairs with this dwarven fellow. These set of stairs seem like they take a bit, a little bit longer. Kind of seems like you went up like basically like a floor and a half. As you guys managed to reach the entrance, opening up into this grand chamber, you notice that as soon as you guys pinnacle up there at the top, the stairs actually go back down into the room. Once again, very nice in here. Granted, well, nice, probably pretty comparable to like pretty close to what your father runs. For those who are in the know of his more shady business as you guys are.
Hmm.
Like I said, very nice. Mixture of generally the higher to do races here in Dunreen. So lots of humans, halfling, well, not really so much halflings, but humans, gnomes, dwarfs, a couple of halflings here and there. An occasional oddball like a dwarf or something, but these all seem to be very well off to do especially compared to the lowest floor, and even better off to do than the other floors. You kind of have a feeling, especially since you heard about the stone. I think Ryan did hear about the stonecutters because of what the one guy talked about, the half elf that you interrogated,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and you're assuming that this has to do with the stonecutters as well. Raine, because of, as I said, the incantation mentioned it again.
Hmm.
Um, so you kind of have a feeling that these people all have to deal with whatever, probably have to deal with these stonecutters, which you're assuming some kind of probably like thieves guild or something, like the head honcho thief guild kind of here, maybe.
Hmm.
Just kind of getting a feel for it. Not entirely sure. But anyways, um, as you are basically led in, at the bottom of the stairs, a couple of pretty, pretty well armored dwarves. As you guys get to the bottom of the stairs, um, the dwarf walks past as they seem to, after that, cross their pole arms in front of you. As the dwarf turns around and, in a very low voice, starts talking to one of the dwarfs. Kind of hard to hear, and doesn't seem to be speaking in common from what you can, the little bit that without really focusing on what he's saying. Doesn't, like I said, doesn't seem to be speaking in common and speaking in very low hushed tones to this other dwarf.
Hmm.
Psst, Remy, what's he say?
Can I listen in real good?
Perception.
Oh.
Oof, ouch.
8. Kind of speaking a little too low for you. You've gotten banged around a couple of times, trying to clear out your ears, trying to listen. Few words kind of come through here and there, but nothing coherent enough to make absolute sense to you. As after a while he gets done talking to them, the one of the two, you're guessing kind of guard dwarfs or something, kind of nods and nods to the other one as they lift their weapons up out of the way, and the dwarf that you're following says, you know, you know, as I stated before, you need to follow me right now, and we'll see what you guys can do. As he motions for you once again to follow him.
All right, I give just a nod and follow.
Okay, rest of you following suit.
Yeah.
Give the guards a nod and follow.
Right. As you guys make your way through the room, a couple of glances coming your way. A couple of people just kind of acting like you don't really exist. The glances that kind of come your way is kind of like looking at like what are these folks doing here? Kind of like you don't look familiar. Kind of getting a feeling that you guys are kind of out of your element, basically, from the stairs, a few stairs that you get, or just being completely and totally ignored, like you aren't worth anything. Is eventually you guys make your way to these giant, elegantly carved stone double doors. Um, and once again, a couple more of these dwarven guards kind of standing in front, watching over the front as once again the dwarf walks up and starts talking to the two guards. Once again, kind of from where you guys are talking about, from where you guys are at and stuff. Kind of hard. Once again, low tones and such. Dwarvish again, dwarven again. Totally up to you guys what you want to do.
I'm giving a listen.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm kind of waited on to see what Remy says about him because I already raised enough suspicions, so I'm trying to behave. Ooh.
18. Okay, definitely a lot better hearing this time. Uh, must have cleared out whatever was blocking your ears earlier. As you're listening in, basically the gist that you get from what they're talking is the dwarf that led you up here is essentially talking to the guards, telling you that he's taking you guys to see the head of the stonecutters, to basically see what you guys are made of, and if you guys are worthy materials of possibly joining, as he told them that he basically noticed that you guys aren't really tied to anything, and noticed that you guys aren't from around here. So if you guys are any good, you might as well snag you up before somebody else snags you up. You know, keep their strength up and such. As the guards kind of like nod and a few clarifying questions and such. Like I said, not really too much out of the ordinary. From what you can understand, that's basically the gist of what you get. As they get done talking, the two guards uh, walk to the sides of the door and grab these giant iron chains that are inside the wall and start with one hand to start pulling down on them. And you hear the doors like make a loud thud and start opening and like kind of very slowly, and because of these heavy doors, you're guessing some kind of mechanism or such that is doing the heavy lifting of these doors. Um, as the doors finally come open with a loud thud, before you seems to be a set of stairs that leads up and then spirals around on both sides, one going to the left and one going to the right. The dwarf that you were talking to before, kind of, turns towards you guys and motions for you guys to come in and states, well, as I said, we have to see what you're made of. So the head of the stonecutters will go ahead and see you now. Just proceed up the stairs and don't do anything too stupid. As he kind of gives you kind of a toothy smile.
Hmm.
I give him another nod and go on up.
Okay, I'm ready to fuck shit up. Are you, Lani? With no magic?
Oh.
Yeah, babe.
I love this.
Well, I'm
Keep
ready.
forgetting. Those are important to remember.
Yeah, most of you, the group has anti-magic colors. Yeah, I would definitely say looking around at this and such, just to kind of play it off, I would definitely say that in his element and stuff, Dunsen kind of feels a little off. He definitely not, you know, probably not coping super well with this.
Hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
have to imagine we're either joining the Illuminati or, like, the Mafia.
I think it's more the mafia, probably.
Well, like, the
Yeah.
Stonecutters thing really reminds me of the Freemasons.
Yeah.
But...
But anyways, so you guys are going to go ahead and head on in?
Yep.
Okay, as you guys start heading on in, start making your way up the stairs, you get up to the I'm trying to remember what that one area of the stairs is that's elevated before it branches off into the curls, that flat.
Like a platform kind of thing. Like,
Kind of, yeah, uh like a basically that central area of the stairs before it levels off for a while. As soon as you guys manage to make your way up there, the doors that were the giant stone doors behind you start closing, and with again with a loud thud. Is you look in here and you know looking around, tapestries seem to be hanging on the walls and such. Uh, as you look towards the door, and over the door seems to be this grand, elegant painting of this dwarf that you haven't seen before. Very fine clothes, surrounded by riches.
Draw me like one of your French drawers.
All right. I'm guessing you guys are going to go ahead and proceed up the stairs. All
Yep.
right. Any particular direction you want to go, left or right?
Let's go right.
Okay. So you guys eventually make your way up the stairs. They curl around, and when you reach the top of the stairs, basically it seems like they reconverge back into a singular hallway. As you seem to reach up there with no problems, as you look on in, this grand chamber, once again, very, very well to do, very cushy. About, oh, I would say there's probably about 12 more of those dwarvish guards up here. And at the far back, in kind of this kind of like cushy, kind of throne like stone, the stone throne, the top of it encrusted with jewels of varying hues and of red, adorn the top of this very cushy looking throne. And upon this throne sits a dwarvish figure, very similar to the one that you saw a portrait out in the front, and seems to be being served by a few maidens.
I already like this guy.
Like I said, very, very high quality, lavish, but also at the same time very cautious not to show anything of extreme value to those who might be here for ill intent, intents. As you guys enter, seems to look towards you and you know beckons you to come forth.
I come forth.
I step forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Remy talk because dwarves versus
Yeah.
dwarves do a lot better than other races.
You know,
Yeah, as I said before, Ryan definitely understands to just keep his big mouth shut.
so
I'm
yeah,
gonna walk up, give a respectful bow, and wait a second to see if he talks first.
he gives you a slight nod as you bow, and he goes, yes. Well, from what I understand, from what I've heard from Garum, he told me that he might have found some people of use. So, being as that I am the stonecutter, head of all the stonecutters, the secret hand that runs Dunreen,
Is Discord doing the thing again?
Damn,
Oh
you
my God.
interrupted Hesper's
I'm
dialogue.
sorry, I didn't hear any of it.
Didn't hear any of my dialogue. Holy
Oh
crap!
no. It was
Last thing I heard was the secret hand that runs Dunreen.
Um, you know, uh, okay. So once again, introduces himself as the stonecutter. Head of the stonecutters. The secret hand. Basically the group that's the secret hand that runs Dunreen. Garum tells me that you could be people who could be useful to us. And, well, it's always generally better to see, especially if new blood, if getting first pick. But there's only so much that words can do, and, well, let's just say proving yourselves would be a fairly decent way of proving this you'd be useful to our organization.
Kind of nudge at Remy.
Well, this guy seems like the type that he wants to do the talking, so I'm just letting him complete
Okay.
before I say anything to him.
Okay. Well, I was just giving you guys kind of a moment to digest and figure out if there's anything that you want to say or anything like that. He goes, after basically giving you guys a bit of silence. He gets up from his throne. He's like, yes, those who know when to stay quiet and hear everything. They can be useful, but sometimes those with initiative, they can be useful, possibly even more useful. But anywho, I do have a few, challenges that I can possibly have you partake in and see if you're befitting of our, station within our group. Now, granted, depending on how well you do, obviously tells on if you're stonecutter material. Granted, if you prove not to be quite stonecutter material, and definitely judging by you being newer members, and definitely shouldn't have been up on the second floor, you do show some promise.
Well, sir, we're always up for a challenge.
Okay, well,
Well, before we get into challenges, my sisters and I, our strength lies in magic, and we were fitted with these anti-magic collars upon entering this place, and we were wondering if maybe you could have something done with these.
the tests don't really. If you think about it, magic is more of a tool, and those who are worthy can get by without it. And if you do manage to become the quality of that we're looking for in the stonecutters, well, we'll remove them for you. But if you don't, I mean, like I said, we'll grant you access to the appropriate floor that you should be allowed access to. But, well, you'll have to prove yourself a little bit more dependable that you won't collapse my empire upon my head.
So what's this test that he wants us to do?
Well, I have quite a few depending on your tastes. Um, by far the most, the most interesting and also the most deadly is my Thieves' Gauntlet. But I also have smaller, easier tasks that can accommodate folk who don't wish to risk their lives, let's say.
Could you give us a moment to discuss between ourselves?
Go for it.
All
And he
right.
gives you a nod.
So, guys, we want access to the top floor. I think we should do the thieves one, the thieves gauntlet.
Yeah, I think we want to impress this guy.
Yeah.
Or I have an idea. They're stonecutters, right? I just show them my My mason tools.
that you don't have.
Hesper is going to talk to you about that.
Oh.
Apparently.
Yeah, you don't actually have stone cutting tools on you. You have the ability to use them, but you don't have any.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what?
You didn't buy any.
You just got the like mastery of them.
Yeah, you have proficiency with them. But you never actually bought them. I
Just
didn't
like,
realize
Ryan didn't get a
real-
grappling hook.
Yeah, I didn't realize this until I was making up the character sheets this week.
Why the fuck would I take the proficiency and not grab the tools?
Because you got it for free as a dwarf.
I feel the same way about the grappling hooks, man. It's okay. Been simmering in me for a bit, but it's gonna be okay, Feugy.
Oh. You still gonna try to show him your skills?
Nope. Let's go for the glove.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Let's see here. What was I gonna say again? Okay. Since you guys, you guys know your father, and knowing this information, I will tell you this. You do know that every kind of like thieves guild has a a thieves gauntlet,
Mm-hmm.
which they only, when it's a group of people, they only allow one person to go through, and it is like I said, it is very deadly, and it's generally a test of skill and riddled with challenges and traps.
So we be going into this one at a time?
All five of you would have to choose one person, and that one person would be representing all five of you.
Oh.
So if this is a test about how good one is at being a thief, it should probably be me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking too. Because you still have a lot of good skill sets despite not being able to do your shadowy stuff. Your ninja stuff.
Yeah. Like, I have a 13 in stealth, a 13 in sleight of hand, 7 in insight. I have 7 in perception and performance, 9 in acrobatics.
Yeah, unless it's just brute forcing, I ain't any good.
Yeah.
I can't even cut a hole in the stone to get around it.
Yeah.
Well, with that, it wasn't so much a single stone; it was a whole bunch of them, and anyways, that was more of a cave-in than just a single stone. Uh, but much like your father, like I said, he does have other challenges, though he didn't tell you what they are, but you could always ask him what the other challenges are in case which those granted aren't as prestigious as the Thief's Gauntlet, but they definitely are a lot less deadly.
So have we made up our minds?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
giving
well,
I'm just giving you guys all the information.
Okay, so,
Well, after, do you want to do the deadly one?
yeah.
yeah. Okay. We nominate our brother Ryan.
I begin taking off my fine clothes via the snaps, and underneath is my ninja gear and weapons and stuff. And I'll hand my clothes over to Remy to put in his knapsack.
Ah, so I see. You're taking the Thief's Gauntlet then. Well, as I said, it is more deadly, and since there are 5 of you, I can only permit one of you to enter and one of you to run it, since the others will be watching and spectating, and, well, it's not really fun for me if they get the watch and they know what you've managed to figure out should you, ultimately perish, shall we say. Uh, Anywho, if you're still up for this challenge, I mean,
I will put my life on the line for the prestige of my family.
very well then. He claps his hands a couple of times, and the people, the guards kind of line up, and as he starts making his way down the stairs, he's like, "If you don't mind, go ahead and head out towards the main chambers. I'll have somebody lead you to where uh, you will take on the Thieves' Gauntlet, and I will be with your siblings in spectating your feats."
Before we separate, I want to hand Ryan my horn of Valhalla, just in case you, you get caught.
I'm gonna look up what this does.
You
Oh wow!
roll.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the silver one.
Honk honk. All right.
All right. All right. So you guys are going to go ahead and be led out. Then I take it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I'll
Okay.
head over to the main chamber to do some stretches,
Well,
some push-ups, jumping
well,
jacks, limber up.
you all are being led out to the main chamber,
Oh, okay.
and as he does, he comes down to the main chamber. Everybody seems to be perking up and very interested as you guys go through another set of doors that were previously closed but are now open, and the vast majority go up the stairs. And as you guys start heading over that way, one of the guards, before you start heading up the stairs, Ryan grabs you on the shoulder and points down a side hallway.
All right, I head that direction.
As you head down that way, everybody else makes their way up to the top. You Everybody is looming over, looking down into this Thief's Gauntlet. Um, Looking down, prepared and on basically on the very first room. As you basically make your way to the front of this, you notice, you know, the the chamber eventually just leads to a single. Everybody else, you guys are in this massive, giant chamber, and you guys are looking down somewhat of a partial wall down into currently the first section is a corridor. As you guys are looking down into this corridor, um you guys hear people talking in different languages, dwarvish, gnomish, common. They all seem to be taking bets. As Ryan, eventually you make your way to the very front of the gauntlet.
Mhm.
A set of steel gates um, seem to be in front of you as one of the guards is standing there. And above the steel gates, kind of behind some bars, you see basically the stonecutter. And he looks down at you and he tells you, "Nobody will question you if you decide to turn back now, but this is your last opportunity."
I think I'm just warming up, getting ready.
Very well. And then he motions to the guard, and the guard nods, and pulls a lever, and the gates, swing open in front of you.
I step forward.
Okay, as you step inside, starting to take a look around,
Mm-hmm.
the gates go, much quicker, slam right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Looking at it, it does not seem like these gates are going to open back up for you. You are committed to this now.
Yeah.
All right. Um, as you are basically in the very beginning, as it turns, there is a bend. It's not a very large first area. As you make your way up around to the end of this bend, you are now looking down a hallway. This hallway is about 10 feet wide and 50 feet long. Um, let's see here. Looking around, kind of on the sides of this hallway, you notice bones, possibly of people who have previously tried this and failed, litter the sides. In front of you are three beams of pale blue light that shines through slits that come through on your left. The first one is directly in front of you, and then another one about another 10 feet down, and another one another 10 feet down from that. At the end of this corridor seems to be a open archway about 5 feet wide.
Okay. So on the left side of the hallway, there's like three little slits where light is shining through, but like they're
They're not
spaced.
they're thin slits, but they're very long, and the light shines directly through onto the other side of the wall, completely onto the other side of the wall, and it's a pale blue light.
Okay. Oh man, I kind of want to look through one of the slits, guys. Uh,
Mm.
trying to think. I'm looking through my equipment.
Well, don't forget, I did tell you everything that's in the hallway too.
Some skeletons and stuff, right?
Scattered bones, not so much whole skeletons.
I'm
No,
looking
you're
for
not.
something reflective. Hmm. I don't know if I have anything like that. I guess I have a hooded lantern. Can I use like the glass of the lantern to kind of get an angle to where I can see through the reflection what's going on in those slits?
Let's see here. Hooded. So, um, you got a dagger. Roll me a flat dexterity check to see if you can fidget out the mirror inside the hooded lantern, because it's in there like kind of. Okay, yeah, you managed to bend some of the metal out of the way with
Hmm.
your knife and managed to pull out your dagger, and you managed to pull out the mirror.
Okay. So I would like to look through the mirror through the nearest slit.
Okay.
I have a feeling
Are,
if I look with my face, I'll lose an eye or something. So.
okay. So are you doing this quickly? Or are you doing this? How are you doing? Like, how are you getting the mirror over there? I
Jeez.
mean, obviously with your hand, but I'm just trying to determine on how you're, kind of
I
figuring this out.
think I'm solid snaking up to the left side wall next to the slit, and I'm holding my mirror out in front of me and angling it a little bit.
Okay. Um, as you do that and you get the mirror, you kind of get a glimpse, ever so slightly. The slit doesn't go back very far, and it seems that it seems just from a quick glance that it's with the luminescent mushrooms. But as you reach your hand over and break the light, you hear behind you a ka-chonk, and all of a sudden, down comes swinging towards you from behind. So this would be going down the length of the hallway. Uh, come, uh, come three. No, sorry, two pendulum blades come
Hmm.
swinging down towards you. Go ahead and make me a dexterity save.
Okay, I do want to be clear. I'm like up against the wall, like pressed up against it.
Yeah, but you said you kind of had your hand out a little
Right,
bit,
right.
and
Okay.
I'm
So
making
I'm
sure
pulling
this
my
isn't
hand
going to
back
hit your.
in.
Yes.
Okay.
So this isn't going to be such a bad DC check as opposed to if it was your whole body. 12. Okay. Uh, you you notice this and you try pulling back your hand,
Uh-huh.
but it gets caught on the very end of the pendulum before you get it over. Um, Granted, it's not going to be as bad.
Hesper, GM, is typing.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh
Um,
no.
the pendulum scrapes across the back end of your arm as you
Uh-huh.
bring it back towards you. Cut pretty good across the top of the skin. As you sit there and you're kind of holding onto it, bleeding, you're going to take 18 points of damage.
Good lord. Okay.
I told
Uh
you this is very deadly.
yeah. Okay. So I believe that puts me at 57. Okay. All right, so I take it these blades are just like spin, like just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, they're going back and forth. They don't seem to be losing momentum either. They're just in front of you.
All right,
And like
I
I
think
said,
I've
and
shimmy further up the hallway,
okay.
out of the range of the blades, ideally.
Well,
Or
basically, the way that the blades are swinging,
oh, is it like all the way down the hallway?
not all the way down the hallway, but not enough for you to get clear before the next set of light.
Okay, okay.
This is just from you being able to just look and tell. Um, so,
Uh,
and like I said, you do have elements in this dungeon, or well, gauntlet, whatever you want to call it.
right. So are the slits like vertical? Are they vertically long or are they horizontally long?
They're going up and down vertically.
Okay.
While Aster's kind of thinking about this, you kind of hear some people going, you kind of hear some jeering and such, guys, going on upstairs.
Hmm.
You guys standing next to the stonecutter, you guys hear from him like, "Whew, that was a nasty mistake." Well, hopefully he does better going forward.
Am I able to see any other like impressions on the ground or on the walls, ceiling, etc.? Since I'm now
Um,
aware that it's like trapped.
Looking, the only things out of place other than it looking like a stone corridor, like a stone cut cord, like basically like slabs of stone put together. Um, Outside of that, and the slits of light are the biggest giveaway. Um, the ceiling, it's very hard to see up on the ceiling. It's not so much that it's dark; it's just whatever there is up on the ceiling. It's hard to see. It's hard for you to see through.
Is it like mist or like netting or
Some physical substance, not mist or anything, but like solid, tangible.
could I possibly throw a shuriken up there?
Yeah, you can. You
I want
go
to get a
ahead.
feel for what's up there.
You you throw a shuriken. It hits. Not very hard to hit that. Is it? Sounds like it hits. Um, it sounds like it hits stone.
Mm-hmm.
And just comes landing back on the ground and tinks around a little bit.
Okay.
Roll me a d20. Okay. The way that you threw your shuriken and such, as it tinks, it falls back where it falls back down. It just manages to get through the next set of light, about 10 feet down, breaks the light, and then all of a
Okay.
sudden, you notice coming from above you, all of a sudden, another set of three pendulums as they go swinging above your head and into the next section. The pendulums are now crisscrossing and basically have impeded your path of even scooting along the left hand side of the wall now.
Oh, okay. So
You
the
got
four pendulum blades are kind of like interlocking almost.
5.
5. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So they fit in the holes left by the other ones. That's rough.
And there's still one more pillar of light.
Yeah. I'm going to get shredded up. Let's see. These pendulum blades, is there like a place for me to safely grab onto like the shaft of them or anything like that? Or are they bladed all the way up?
No, they're not bladed all the way up. It's just the front and the back and the bottom of the actual pendulum blade. They're actually flat on top, with looks like a metal bracing bar to hold the blade in place, and a solid like metal shaft leading all the way up.
Okay.
Ride the pendulum.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you still got one more pillar of light, like I said, that you don't know what it does.
I'm really afraid that is the one that's going to give me absolutely no room to get through and I just die.
You might also stop them.
I'd like to take a look at how the bones are positioned.
They roll me an investigation check.
Oh, I'm good at those.
Okay, it's not too hard to tell. They seem to be more scattered out towards the outside. Um,
Define towards the outside.
like where you're currently standing, there's like some bones nearby where you're at, and
Okay.
looking around, it doesn't seem like bones are down the middle of this hallway at all. It looks like if possibly you're just at assumptions at this point from what you've seen and what you're getting from the investigation, which isn't a whole lot. You're assuming that people have been hit by these pendulums, shredded and thrown to the sides.
Okay, but it sounds like after a certain point they're okay. Like if
Yeah,
they make it past a certain point, they're fine.
on the other side, a bit further down from where the third light is, yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
You're, you're guessing probably about 40 feet down this hallway.
I feel like I have two options based on what I know. I can either try to ride the pendulums, or I can throw another shuriken to trigger the third light.
It's your life. I think you should do what your gut tells you.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. Because it sounds like I'm in a relatively featureless hallway. The corpses seem to stop by the third light, correct?
About this is a 50-foot long hallway, about 10 feet short of the door.
Okay, and where exactly is the last light?
The last light is let's see here. There's the first one, the second one's 10 feet down, and the third one's another 10 feet down from you. So
Okay.
the third light is 20 feet away from you.
You know what? I'm going to combine both of these plans. I think I don't think this is two separate plans. I think this is one entire plan coming together. I would like to attempt to grab a hold. Well, I guess like I'm going to be doing like some kind of jump or something to get up on one of the blades.
Okay, so the one closest to you that's swinging from the first set.
I think possibly the second set if I'm able to.
The way that the second set is swinging towards you, there's no clear way for you to grab the top.
Okay.
The
Okay, I
only-
see. So I'm at like the very end of its arc. It sounds like.
Yeah, basically the way that the blade's swinging up, there's no way for you to, without possibly trying to run, to get to it.
Okay. So I
And
gotta
you would
start the first one.
And you'd get hit by the first one doing that, more than
Yeah.
likely.
Okay. So I would like to make some kind of jumping grasp at the one closest to me from the first set.
All right, roll me an acrobatics check. By the way, what are the rest of you doing while he's doing this?
Hoping that our brother doesn't die. I'm like kind of sitting at the edge of my seat. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay, so a 15. All right, so you try to think about it and you start going for it, but your hand just doesn't quite grasp it in time as you kind of slam into the side of the blade and get thrown back a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You have like a split second to get out of the way before the blade starts coming back at you.
So is
Because
that a
the
deck save?
Go ahead and roll me a dex save. 20. You manage to kind of roll back out of the way and manage to miss the blade barely
Okay.
as it comes back towards you.
Can I attempt this again?
Yeah, you can attempt it again.
Okay.
Like I said, you kind of hear the jeering of the other. Right. This time you're a lot more confident as you jump forward and grab a hold of onto this pendulum blade, and you are now riding atop this first pendulum blade, going back and forth, trying to figure out your timing of of how these blades are swinging.
Yeah.
You have the other one that's in front of you, and then you got the three that are swinging, the one that's swinging behind you, and the two others that are in front of you. Obviously one closer than the other one.
that nat 20 doesn't help him jump through.
He's up on top of the pendulum blades. That's what
Yeah.
he was trying to do.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to say, like,
I'm
it
not
doesn't help him grab another one.
I wouldn't think so either.
No.
Okay.
Okay. I want to ask you, Hesper, if I jumped to the second blade, because I'm still getting a feel mentally for what's going on in this room. If I jump to the second blade, is there any possibility of me accidentally triggering the third light?
With the way that the blades are swinging, the blades are like seem to be missing each of the and they seem to be a little bit shy of the light as they're swinging to and fro. So you're assuming that they've been purposely designed not to hit the next set of lights.
Okay. So I'd like to make a timed jump to the other set of blades.
Okay. All right. As you I will need another dexterity, another agility or
Acrobat.
acrobatics. Sorry.
Okay. Whew, okay. I
Oh.
saw the 6. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up on top, making your time with it. So you're trying to get to the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay. Making your judgment on the time on them passing and crisscrossing with each other. You manage to swing on over, grab the next one, and you are now following along. Um, after you've shimmied your way back towards the front to give you a better advantage, you've managed to make your way to the back end of the middle pendulum.
Okay. If I were to jump for the archway, how long would that jump be?
You would have to try to jump and clear the pendulum, with enough room for you to make, for headway and such.
Yeah.
Which at the top of its arch, you are not having headway of being
Yeah.
able to make your way through. Um, you would have to basically jump 30 feet to make it to the door.
Oh.
How does jumping work in D&D again, Hesper?
Jumping is long jump, if I remember right, is an athletics check, and it's 5 feet plus your strength modifier.
Okay, I don't like that. Alright, I think I'm gonna throw a shuriken to try to trigger the last light.
Okay. As you set up and you throw the last shuriken, um, scrunching up as much as you can on that blade to throw that last shuriken. You throw, and the last set of pendulums comes
Mm-hmm.
down. Two more. So these two interlocking in between the three.
Okay, so it's like how the first set interacts with the second?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
And each one essentially preventing a clean sweep through the room.
right. So I think I attempt to jump to that next set I triggered.
All right, I need a acrobatics check.
Uh-oh.
11. Okay, I need you to make a dexterity save.
Yeah,
But
sounds
this
like
got
it.
that's not that bad.
Okay, as you're planning on trying to get over there, your foot gets caught for a second, but you manage to reach back in enough time to pull yourself back towards that middle pendulum and keep yourself set and riding on that middle pendulum.
Okay, so I'm gonna try again?
Yeah.
That's better.
Ah.
All right. As you once again make your way over onto the third set of the pendulum blades, swinging back and forth. Um, yeah, like I said, they're just continuing to swing back and forth. As like I said, you're on like the last set of the pendulum blades, and basically past the lights at this point.
Okay. Now that I'm I'm still on the pendulum, but like now that I'm like closer, is there any like indentations on the floor or anything like that that I can see? Like if I just
Roll me,
drop yeah, what?
roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Seems pretty average to you. Like it seems pretty normal.
Okay. I would like to using the momentum of the blade do like kind of a jumping like landing in a
Dismount.
roll dismount
Yeah.
thing off the
Okay.
blade.
All right. I need one last acrobatics check.
Okay. Oh, great.
I need a dexterity save.
Come on, you got this.
Right. Once again, thinking you have your moment, and then realizing, oh shit, I don't. You huddle right back onto that bar. Just like, okay, I need to not mess this up.
Oh,
15, like I said, it's not as hard getting off of these as it was getting on.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely are able to just barely make it with a 15 as you just kind of go out onto a roll onto the floor, just barely past the edge of the swinging pendulum.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, People seem to be looking at you. Some seem to be whispering to each other, and
we're
you
cheering
know,
you on.
yeah. Oh, I've been asking what you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all
And
very tense for me.
as you guys, watch this and such, and the stonecutter, looks and he's like, "All right, made it past the first one, but seems like he had a bit of tough luck, you know, so far. Wonder how he's going to do on the next one." As he's talking to the rest of you, as he starts walking across the way to basically what looks like the next chamber. Uh, and you notice, Ryan, a lot of these people are starting to move as you're kind of at the end of this hallway and with the stone arch in front of you leading into the next hall and next door.
I think while I have a little bit of a break, I'd like to drink a potion, if possible.
Okay. What kind?
I have a potion of healing. I have 3 of them, actually.
Just the regular one, or do you have a greater?
Just as potion of healing, Hesper.
All right, that's a regular one then. Roll me 2d4 and add 2.
Uh, you might have to add the 2.
Yeah,
It's like
6. So you get
Okay.
6 hit points back.
63. Okay. Slurp, slurp.
All right. So making your way into the next room.
Yeah.
Right? Um, any particular way you're entering, or you know?
I'm gonna sneak up on it, Hesper.
So you're being cautious. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So coming up to the next room, you look inside and you notice this one again is another hallway, not as long as the previous one. It's 10 feet wide by 30 feet. Well, I guess where you come in, it's 40 feet, but you got 30 feet into the next end. Which the next end, there's an opening that looks like it's a in the shape of an eye. Looking around, the walls and the floor of this room all have basically stone eyes carved in them. The ones on the wall have holes in them. The ones on the floor are various colors: blue, green, yellow, black, and red. Um,
I'm gonna vomit.
you you look behind you, and you look to your left as you enter this room, and behind you is just basically a giant wall carved with a giant red eye on it.
Red eye. So maybe you have to step on all the red eyes on the floor.
As you cautiously enter this room, as you enter and get to about the center of the room, all of a sudden in front of you, from all the eyes that are all lining each side of the wall, blasts of fire start shooting out. Just from just various, all different sets of these eyes that are sitting here on the sides of the walls.
Okay.
As
But I'm
people
safe?
seen where you're at, yes, because there are no eyes with the openings on them.
Okay.
This is just kind of showing you what's, as the player, what to
Yeah.
expect.
Okay.
Um, as you look around up top, a lot of the patrons seem to be laughing again, still jeering and such.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if you're gonna, still taking bets. Some of them kind of mad that they kind of already lost their bets. Some of them, still taking bets and such, and trying to figure out how this is going to all go down. So,
Well,
what would you?
speaking of down, I'd like to look down and see what I'm standing on.
Um, where you walked in, you are currently standing on you're where you started in. These are actually eyes that are not carved with a color to them. They're just stone eyes.
Okay.
In front of you start to be all these different colors. Like I said,
Okay.
blue, green, yellow, black, and red.
And where I walked in from is now a red eye.
The red eye is basically behind you as you look from the opposite end of the exit, and it's just basically, like I said, this giant wall with a giant carved red eye on it.
Yeah. Okay, that's spooky. And there's an eye across the hallway where I'm trying to get to, right?
Yeah, it's like an open. It's like the shape of an eye, but it's currently completely open.
Oh. Am I able to see through it?
Yeah, you can see into it to the next chamber.
Okay.
How many chambers are there again?
You don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think you said that.
uh,
Is there are there any like eyes with like slits in them, such as like the fire one? Is there anything like that facing towards where I'm standing?
Oh, you mean the ones that are where instead of the color they're completely open? No, there's none of them facing towards you. They're just on the left and right walls.
Okay.
And when you stepped on them, those were the only ones that fired off. Were basically on the left and right wall. They were in random patterns. It wasn't like any set specific.
Well, I'm gonna or say, I got 500 gold that says he makes it through this. Makes it through this chamber.
Roll me a persuasion check. 9. A couple of the people kind of look at you, kind of laugh a little bit, kind of don't believe that you have the money.
I show him the money.
Hmm. You get one brash dwarf who goes ahead and, all right, I'll take you on. I think it's a pretty safe bet he won't make it.
Through this chamber.
Yeah, through this chamber.
All right, go on.
So, what's everybody else doing?
I'm
Curling up
cheering
in a
Ryan
ball and
up.
crying.
You got this, Ryan.
Yeah, it
Don't
started
die
off with
on
like,
me.
oh, it said Zelda puzzle, and I was like, oh, it's a Zelda puzzle. uh, ugh.
You should
Um,
see if you can tap the ones on the floor.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm worried that I'll die. So, any corpses in this room, Hesper?
None.
Because they all
Ah,
get charred up.
Or maybe this is a room that they just go ahead and clean. Who knows? Or maybe not very many people make it past that first room.
mm-hmm. All right, I'd like to, geez, take one of my ball bearings and kind of gently roll it in front of me on the ground.
All right, you roll the ball bearing and it goes ding, 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 ding. As it rolls down the hallway, nothing happens. You kind of have a feeling that the ball bearing doesn't weigh enough to trigger
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, I figured. Where did it stop?
About halfway down.
What color?
It's kind of in a crevice between two of them.
I hate you.
Are there any red near you? Any
The
red
red
colored
scares
eyes?
me. Listen, I'm worried that if I press red, a fucking like laser beam will like shoot down the middle of the hallway. I don't know. Okay.
You can always roll away from it. You're still in a safe area, but I feel like red is the clue that tells you that if you click on the red switches, the flame eyes might like stop shooting.
All right, Hesper. I tap a red block with my foot.
With your foot? Okay.
God.
Putting enough pressure on the red one, you know, you go and push like real quick. Nothing happens.
What if you hold it?
I'm not doing that with my foot.
You don't have anything that weighs in your backpack or your bag?
I have a tonfa.
What's that?
It's basically a club that he can beat people. And you also have a short sword.
Yeah. I guess the sword would weigh more, huh?
Well, you don't have to just put the sword there and just let it sit there. You could
Yeah.
jam the sword in if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, I was wanting to like kind of force my tonfa down onto the red panel.
Okay, so you're gonna prod it with the. Okay.
Yeah.
Taking your.
So like my actual body parts aren't hopefully at risk. You know.
You push down on the red one with the tonfa.
Yeah.
About as hard, you know, you're holding down pretty hard, kind of out of the way, just making sure nothing's happening.
Are the
All right.
eyes still shooting on the wall?
No, none of them are shooting fire currently, and
Oh.
even after I'm hitting the red twice. You know, tapping it with his foot, none of them fired off. Pushing it down with his tonfa on the red, nothing happened.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Oh man.
I think. Well,
You still got.
How large are these tiles?
They vary in size. Some are really easy to stand on with both feet. Some look about big enough only for 1 foot.
Okay. So,
it's like a game of Twister.
yeah, here's kind of what I'm thinking of at the moment is did I stumble onto the correct answer already, or do I keep trying the other tiles to see what happens? My worry with the other tiles is that their effects could be permanent.
Yeah. So I think so too.
Only one way to find out.
I think you should try to just hopscotch over to the other side by only landing on red ones.
Hey, this is rough. All right, well, I got good deck saves. Let me look through some of my stuff really fast before I commit to this. Got a couple things I want to look at.
Well, whatever you do, just don't die. I got 500 gold on you.
Wow, rude. Okay. I think I'm going to stand on that red tile I've been testing.
Okay. So cautiously and slowly, you get up and you start walking towards the red tile, and you put your weight down on it, and you stand there for a split second, kind of waiting for something to happen, and nothing happens. But then all of a sudden, you hear the hallway behind you, a stone slab slams down, and the red eye behind you starts shuddering as it starts moving closer and closer towards you.
Oh shit.
Okay.
So you started the timer. The pressure to make you move forward.
All right. So I'm assuming time is of the essence in roleplay too. So I'm going to quickly try to jump to the next red tile, and we can abstract this. I'm going to keep trying to do that.
All right, roll me an acrobatics. Okay, 20. You see the next one. You jump towards that. Looking ahead through your acrobatics, you have a good sight of vision onto the next tile.
Okay. Think I just go for it.
Do it. Do it. You got this.
Okay, 15. Because of the 20 before, that makes it easier because you know where you're going as you shift
Yeah.
your weight and land onto the next tile.
Okay.
Um,
Do I need a perception check to see what's the next one is, or is that how we're
I
doing
mean,
this?
if you want to take the time for a perception check, you can, and it would help your odds. But at the same time, you do got to remember there's a timer and the walls creeping up behind you.
Right.
So each time that you make a perception check, the wall's getting closer, but you're staying where you're at. Uh, all that's going to do is just make it easier for you. I just made it easier for that one time because you rolled a 20 on your
Okay.
acrobatics.
All right. I'll just
So,
keep jumping, man.
right, right, 22. Really confident as you jump towards the next one. As the wall's getting closer, you're looking behind you, seeing about how much time that you have. Um, all of a sudden, as you're looking in front of you, you hear a and now the panel in front of you to the eye is
Yeah.
starting to close.
Oh.
I need to
How
start
far away is
rushing.
that? How far away is that?
You're about 15 feet down the hall.
And the hall is what, 40 feet?
The hall is the total of the part that you had the gauntlet through is about 30 feet. You've made your way about halfway down, hopscotching.
Okay.
Uh,
So I definitely need to hurry this up. Um, I don't just want to start running though, do I? Uh,
I mean, you might be able to. I don't know.
I'll do one more jump and see how it turns out.
all right, roll me another acrobatics check. 17. Okay, as you start trying to make your way to another panel, you notice as you're about, you're shifting your weight, and the panel flips on you to another color. You back up, find another one, skip and jump towards that one, making your way about just that much closer to the exit. As you're starting to look around and stuff like that, some more of the panels, ever so slowly, are starting to shift from one color from their color to another color.
That's cheating.
That's pretty messed up, man. Uh,
The wall has taken that wall behind you is probably taken up currently um, 3/10 of the room, and the eye in front of you is probably closed about a quarter of its full opening.
okay, but it's still like a nice person-sized hole, I hope.
From your judgment, real quick, you feel like it should be fine for a little bit longer, but not too much longer.
Okay. Uh, and how close am I to it?
You hopscotch probably about another 5 feet. You need to make
All
it
right, man. Here we go. Uh-oh.
17. Okay, so as you try to make your way over, feeling the pressure, um, you you managed to get over to the right one, but as you do, your foot accidentally grazes over and puts enough pressure on a plate. You stepped on a green, and bouts of flame just start shooting from the wall. I need you to roll me a dexterity save.
Okay. Can I dive out of the way in such a way that it's like forward still?
Um, if you're talking about trying to dive to the wall while that's happening, um, let's see here. I'll if you're talking about trying to, you messed up, you knew you heard the click and stuff. I would have to have you make another if you're going to try to make a jump through the chamber as it is. I need you to make me an athletics check. 13. Okay. Okay. So I need to figure this out real quick. I need another dexterity save from you as well. Okay. Oops. A second here. Okay. Through your kind of fumbling and such through this hallway, as you trigger one bout of flames and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna just try to make my way through. You try to make your leap, you time it wrong as you kind of slam into the wall, set off another bout of flames, and basically after these two bouts of flames, you basically crawl through the hole and try putting out the fire that's on yourself. You've taken a total of 52 points of damage.
52.
What? Does he have like third-degree burns?
All right, I'm at 11.
He is pretty fucking crispy right now.
Yeah. Oh man, KFC up in here.
But that means he crawled through the room though, right? Like he was able to escape.
He made it out, yes, but he really got blasted.
Hey, did I hear Remy bet on me?
I would say you're probably concentrating too much
Okay.
on your task.
Well, hey, out of character, enjoy your money.
I will.
Yeah. As that dwarf kind of laughs and looks at you, he goes, "Okay, double or nothing on the next one."
You're on.
Right. As he walks up to the next room, you're sitting there, you're trying to pat out the burns. God, you are in pain. Your ninja outfit is fucked.
Am I just like swinging in the breeze here, Hesper?
No, you probably still have enough
Okay.
for pants and stuff, but
Okay.
you're showing a lot of skin, and a lot of that skin is very bright red.
All right. I would like to drink my last 2 potions, Hesper.
Okay.
You don't want to save one in case of an emergency?
I think he's thinking this is an emergency at this point. All right, you chug down those 2 potions.
Hey, are we allowed to? Could we throw our potions over to our brother?
There's not really any room for you to slide anything through these bars. They're pretty close.
Oh.
Yeah, you get back a total of 8, 9, 10, 11,
12?
12.
What about healing word? Could I heal him through the
No
bars?
magic.
Hi, you have a magic color on.
Damn.
All right, I'm at 23. All right.
I mean, there is something technically as a bard that you probably could do, but you haven't
Bardic
done
inspiration?
it. Maybe.
Oh, I
Let's
fucking
do that.
need that.
Oh, fucking!
Oh
I'm gonna
my
do that right
God.
now. Here you go. I'm gonna give you a
Oh.
bardic inspiration. I'm so sorry. I was not even thinking. I'm gonna give one to him.
What do you do to inspire him as he's standing in the next chamber?
I'm to be like, you got this. You prove them wrong. We've gone through tougher thief gauntlets than this one.
Okay. Yeah. So for the next 10 minutes, if I remember right, on Bardic Inspiration, you have a Bardic Inspiration die, which yours is a D8, if I remember right, Cados?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
you have
does that add like 8 to a roll?
You can add 8 to a roll, yes. As long as, if I remember right, it's a saving throw or an ability check or a accurate, basically an attack. Is it to hit on attack and damage on? There's a couple of different things. I don't remember everything off
Is
the top of my
that
head.
is that after I roll, or do I
After you
decide
make a
before I
roll.
roll? Okay. Oh,
you
that's
can make
nice.
a roll and then add after. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as you're drinking these potions and you're looking around, this is a much smaller chamber, and round. As you're looking around, stone walls surround the sides of you. In front of you seems to be a weird mechanism about the size of a door. Looking at it, looks like that there's some pillars that run up and down it, and some weird metal protrusions on it. About 5 feet away to the left, you notice something kind of sticking out of the wall. Without investigating things further, that's about all you get. The object that's sticking out of the wall seems to have kind of a seems to be reflecting light.
I hate this. Okay, is that all I get?
Pretty much, very basic stone room. As you're looking around, is there anything you want to do?
I'd like to look more carefully at the door-sized mechanism in front of me.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check.
I'm good at those.
Uh,
Wow.
it looks like a giant trap. And looking at the back of it, you think you see a lock for like a keyhole.
Oh, good.
And as soon as you kind of get a bit of a glimpse of this, you hear another. You hear from the wall where that weird object was that you quite didn't look at. You hear as it slides out towards you, and then slides one direction. And as it does, whatever it's holding is vertically. Was holding it horizontal. It's now holding it vertically, and all of a sudden you hear coming from above, and you look up. The ceiling is this metal bar ceiling, no gaps small enough for a person to fit through, and large protruding spikes coming out of the top, from the top, coming down as it's slowly coming down to crush you. As you look forward towards that mechanism that you're trying to look at,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, to life, the three pillars start spinning and moving about. Looking further in, you notice another set of pillars running horizontal, moving up and down. All these obscuring the path to this lock that's on the back of this door, like what you're assuming is a door. Um, yeah, and like I said, the one object shifted and slid, and it looks like something is running to the bottom of whatever this object is. Like I said, you're panicking without taking a better look at it. You're not quite sure what it is. You just notice movement. What do you do?
I would like to attempt to jam something down there. Uh,
Jam some into the mechanisms.
well, like you said that there was something running underneath, right?
No, like not running underneath it. It's something's running in that object that it's kind of like a brassy color, and the two ends are clear, and you see something running to the bottom of that clear object. You're assuming from the top. It's just real quick from a glimpse.
I'm having trouble visualizing the room.
Dude, Hesper, I can't do this. What?
Brass object came out, turned horizontal. It kind of looks clear on the two ends of the brass object that are now on the top and bottom of the horizontal. Or now it was horizontal, now it's vertical. And because it's clear, you see an object, you see something running possibly from the top down to the bottom of this clear object.
How large is this clear object?
Um, each end of it is about the size of a hand, and the middle part's kind of about the size of a hand too, and it's about eye level with you.
Dude,
so it's like a cylinder. Is it a cylinder? Is that what you're trying to describe? Because all I
Hesper,
know is
this doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Oh my god. I didn't want to explain everything in detail because you didn't investigate it. But fine. It's a bulb and a fist in the middle. And there's something running down towards the bottom bulb.
Where?
It's on the wall.
Like on the left side, like near where the
Yeah, it's about 5 feet away from the mechanism that looks like a door. Here, jeez. Door. Just pretend these are circles. There's a thing, there's another thing, and there's another thing like that. There's things
Okay.
running. There's something running down to that bottom one.
Okay, so I totally screwed up an investigation check. Do I get another one, or?
You can make another one if you want to. Like I
But
said,
the
this is
ceiling's
lowering
coming
down on it.
down.
Yeah, that's totally up to
But
you what you want to do.
I feel like I need the information to proceed, so I'm gonna do it.
All right. Go ahead and roll me an investigation check then.
Oh
Oh my
fucking
god.
god.
Looking at it, it's very taking the time. It's very easy to see what it is. It's an hourglass
Okay.
as the sand is running from the top down to the bottom.
Sand is what you're seeing.
Okay.
Is the door, does it look like it can be lockpicked?
As I told him, he saw a lock all the way in the back, but there's all these mechanisms flying around in front of him with blades on them.
Oh.
Okay, so I've been trying to figure this out. So you said that there's like two door-shaped things, and somehow
There's one door-shaped thing.
Okay. You said there was something running behind it, and it was another door-shaped thing. That's what you told me.
I said there was 2 more cylinders. There's 3 running vertically, and now looking at it, 2 running horizontally. And there seems to be like a keyhole in the back of the door. And as these blades are running back and forth.
So just to kind of imagine, you know those traps
This
like
is a
in
fucking-
Tomb Raider, where they like cycle and they have spikes. So these cylinders that cycle and they spin and they go up and down. Is that what we're trying to imagine? So there's 2 that go vertical up and down, and there's 2 that go horizontal back and forth. Is that what we're saying?
All right, here, let me draw some more stuff.
This
All
is a lot of information and not a lot of visuals, so it's tricky to try to figure out how to even solve it.
Okay, so there's 3 cylinders. That big thing behind is the door, and then there's 2 more cylinders. And then you're assuming there's a keyhole, and well, not assuming, there looks to be a keyhole all the way in the back. These cylinders vertically are kind of running in a horizontal kind of back and forth pattern as they're spinning with blades on them. The 2 and further back in that are horizontal are moving up and down vertically while spinning.
And you're saying that the basically the hourglass tipped over with the movement and now is a timer, right?
Yeah, like I said, the hand came out of the wall, turned, and then started running the sand out of the hourglass.
Okay. So, there's been a lot of talk about doors and blades and spinning and stuff, so I'm trying to figure this out. At the very end of the hallway, there's something with a lock on it, right?
It's not a hall. It's long enough for you to
Okay,
get your hand
what
in.
kind of room am I in?
You are in a round room, okay? So
Okay.
you are in a room like this. This
And the
shit is
floor
like
is
a door
going
right
down.
there. There's like an hourglass like over here. This is like where the mechanism is. It's about to get to the lock. It's about forearm in length. So you'd have to put your hand in there a decent way.
So I have to reach my hand into the meat grinder in order to pick this lock.
I mean, if
Is
you
that
think
what I'm
that's the
getting out
only,
of this?
if you think that's the only solution out of this,
But
yeah.
you can
Okay.
jam it with your club.
Okay, so I can either do something to the hourglass or I can do something to the big mechanism, whirling blades, and lock thing, right?
Yeah, there's nothing else in this room. The door behind you shut.
Okay, thank you. Alright, holy shit. Alright, so, Hesper, don't do anything like this ever again. Fuck.
And the ceiling's coming down, right?
Yeah, the ceiling's coming down.
I think I gotta try to jam something in there. Probably something made of metal, so I'll take my short sword and try to jam it in.
Okay. Let's see here. What would be the best way of doing that?
I feel like now the timer begins and Ryan's thinking fast.
Yeah,
Because,
like I
sorry,
said,
holy
right now.
shit, what was that explanation?
And I won't count that trying to figure out the hourglass against you, since everything seems to be really messed up. But anyways, all right.
I'll draw what I thought was going on in this room later. That'll be fun.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. I want to say it has to be like an intelligence or an investigation check to try to figure out where the mechanisms are inside to be able to jam in the door.
What about perception? Couldn't you try perception in this case?
See, I was wondering if perception would be it, but I have a feeling it's more investigation if you think about it, because he's trying to. Well, I might allow him to go ahead and use thieves' tools. No, because he's not actually using the thieves' tools to jam it.
But I mean, he's got sleight of hands. Why don't we do that instead?
Sleight of hand sounds great.
All right, we'll make it a double then. You have to do. I need a perception check for you to be able to notice where the gears are, and then I need a sleight of hand for you to be able to try to cram the blade into the gears.
Shit.
Okay, so you notice a gap for the vertical blades, and you manage to cram the sword in there, stopping, essentially stopping the middle blade for the vertical ones from moving side to side anymore. Um, the way that you have it in there, you don't feel like it's going to hold for very long, as you kind of hear the gears grinding against it. You don't know if your sword might get thrown out. You don't know if the sword might break. All you know at this point is it's stopping that middle
Okay, so
pillar.
to be clear, do I have enough clearance for me to reach like thieves' tools in there?
You could have tried thieves' tools earlier. It would have been a little harder. Doing this, I would say that it's a bit easier because you're not dealing with as much
Okay,
going back and
I'm
forth.
going
But
in there. So thieves' tools dexterity.
yeah, and I'm gonna say that the ceiling has managed to lower um, a decent amount. But yeah, I need a thieves' tools with dexterity check.
Ugh.
21. Okay, as you get in there, let's see here. As you try to get in there and start getting the lock, you kind of feel a little bit of it give before you have to start thinking about moving your arms out of the way. I need you to roll me a dexterity save. Yeah, you managed to pull your arms out before one of the vertical bars, yeah, or the horizontal bars come up and down and like grind into your hand and start bleeding you out. Um, the ceiling is starting to get closer. You don't feel like that there's too terribly much time. Your
Mhm.
short sword is wiggling a little bit more. You're not entirely sure how much longer it will hold.
Okay. I think I just gotta try this one more time then, right?
Yeah.
Yep, and need thieves' tools
Hey.
then again.
And remember, you have a bardic inspiration.
Yeah. I would like to use my bardic inspiration, Hesper.
Roll me a d8.
Oh, okay. Da. That's
Okay.
still not great.
Fortunately, with your first one, it's just enough to get in there and click the other half of the mechanism. As you hear it click and start sliding back, you look up as the spikes just are barely above your head,
Mhm.
and it seemed to halt as the hand just shifts back sideways.
Okay.
You're sitting there, you're wondering as the mechanisms in the door slow down. As you're waiting, eventually the ceiling starts rising back up to its original height. As it reaches back towards its original height, um, the uh, the whirling, uh, and the gears have stopped. You hear a shudder as the door starts rising with your sword, by the way, still crammed into one of the set of the gears. Are you?
You should probably grab their
I'll
sword.
grab my sword if possible, Hesper.
Right, it's not too hard to grab it as it goes up and manages to close into the top of the ceiling. You, you know, you look in and notice that into the next part is the next chamber.
I'm
Uh,
gonna
the
give.
chamber, the chamber seems to be giving off a bit of a red light, as everybody see and everybody who's upstairs that went to that chamber is now moving on to the next chamber. Um, the uh, the stonecutter seems to stop for a little bit at the last one, while everybody else seems to keep proceeding forwards. As seems to be watching into this final chamber. Uh, I don't know what the rest of you guys are doing. Are you following the masses, or are you just staying there with him, or what?
I'm gonna give my brother another bardic inspiration.
Okay, you got another bardic inspiration for right now.
Follow
As
the
you
pieces.
as you kind of look into this next room, it looks very, you know, just looking from where you're at, it's very lit by like red light. Um, and it seems to be carvings, and from what you can tell, it looks like a jewel sitting on a podium in the middle of this next chamber, waiting for you to enter.
Okay. What is the shape of this room? Did you say it's like a circle or a hallway or?
From what you can tell, you're assuming it's another cylinder room, cylindrical room, but a lot smaller than the one you were just in.
All right, I'm getting MS Paint up. We're doing this. Uh,
All right. All right. So as you make your way into the next room, I'm guessing what, cautiously still?
yeah.
Okay. You make your way into the next room cautiously. As you make your way in, you're about halfway between the doorway that you just came from and this. It looks like a ruby that's about the size of your head. Um, as all of a sudden behind you, you hear the door slam shut behind you. Looking around, you don't notice anything right off the bat other than that. Anything different? The room's still this red glow.
Okay. So, I'm in a cylindrical room, right? Correct?
Yeah, not very. It's about maybe like 10 feet across the whole room. It's not a very wide room. Very
And
big
in
room.
the center is a pedestal or a podium
Yeah, pedestal with a ruby on top of it.
with a ruby on top. Okay.
Like gold filigrees seem to be coming out of, or there's like a basically a stand sitting on this pedestal with, like basically arms holding out this ruby.
And there's no other doorway.
Not that he can see. The one that was left was the one that was behind him, and it just shut.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. I'm wrestling with MS Paint to draw this. Okay. So, the challenge in front of me is just take this ruby, coward.
Or maybe you have to switch something that weighs similar to switch it and put it on the pedestal.
All right. I'd like I'd like to take an investigative approach to this pedestal, Hesper.
Alrighty. Alright, now if you're gonna investigate it, roll me an.
Oh my god.
It looks like a ruby that's being held up on a pedestal by a golden and ornamental arm thing.
Okay, that's how I feel about that.
The ruby is about the size of your head.
I'm looking at the stone cutter guy to see what his reaction is as he got closer.
He's just sitting there he's just standing there watching Ryan.
Impassively?
Yeah, nothing really going on. Begrudgingly, by the way, Remy, that one dwarf gives you 1,000 gold.
Holy shit.
I hope it was worth it.
He gives it to you in 10 I think it's... Let me just double check the price. I think it's 10 platinum, though.
Right, 10 platinum?
I believe its platinum is 10 times gold. I'm trying to remember.
So 100 platinum?
Let's see here. Yeah, platinum's worth 10 gold. So, yeah, he gave him 100 platinum. Sorry.
Okay, so, how are we doing this D&D thing? Because I know some DMs are like, okay, you roll once and that's all you think of this, or am I able to investigate again? Because I don't feel like I'm on a timer currently.
No, so you're not.
I'd like to take my time to kind of, like, get a feel for everything.
Okay. How are you getting a feel for it then? Are you just more staring at it? Are you prodding it with stuff? What's going on?
I don't think I'm touching it yet. I want to examine the gold filigree better.
Right,
like, does it have any kind of, like, symbols or, like, indications of, you know, what you do with this?
It's pretty smooth, honestly, to tell you the truth. You don't need an investigation check for that. It looks like it's mostly just there is a decorative holding it in place.
So is it more like gold flake, basically, on the thing, or?
No, it's like the bottom is flat, and then there's these arms that come up and loop around and hold this ruby in place. So
okay, so it's a
a
pedestal with, like, actual, like, humanish arms coming out of it.
Not human. They're like thin tubes.
Kind of like when how a diamond holds a ruby, or a ring holds a ruby with those kind of prongs. Are you?
Kind of. Except they're not like holding it in place onto the pedestal. It is holding it in place, but it's not like locked in. It's more like a decorative way of holding it it aloft,
holding it steady.
Yeah, and they're just like thin tube. Well, not thin tubes, but they're just tubes that are running up.
Where's the light coming from?
He doesn't.
That's a good question.
Just looking around, there just seems to be like different slits in the top of this are.
Yeah, actually, Hesper, I'd like to look up. I'd like to see what's going on up there.
It's a perfectly flat, normal-looking stone ceiling above you.
I believe you.
What about the floor?
I'd like to look at the floor, Hesper.
I mean, there's a slight step up to the pedestal on the floor, but other than that, it looks like plain normal stone floor.
The stones don't look like they've been, like, scratched or something heavy has been moved around them?
No, everything actually looks pretty pristine in this room.
I mean, I feel like you're like
I have a feeling something bad is going to happen if I do anything with the prongs holding the ruby.
Or maybe nothing's going to happen. Maybe this is the final room and that's the last prize, but I don't know.
I want to just take a damn baseball bat to the thing.
Why don't you, like... try to move the pedestal like forward, like push it without grabbing the ruby, see if like the pedestal moves.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable, and that's something I was thinking about doing anyway, Hesper.
Okay, roll me a strength check then.
Oh, good.
It's not that bad.
All right. You push on the pedestal. It's a pretty heavy stone pedestal, by the way.
Yeah.
As you are trying to push forward, you feel like it's like anchored in place somewhat. That you might have to lift up on it to get it out. Like there's like a rod or something running through the bottom, basically preventing people from kind of just doing what you're doing.
Oh.
But it wiggles.
It's free.
All right, Hesper. I would like to lift with not my back, but my knees.
There you go. Hinge that back.
All right. Roll me another strength check then.
Foul jowie, my bones.
Yeah, this thing is really damn heavy. If you maybe had a couple more people, you would probably lift it up without a problem. But by yourself, no.
Can we look back again at the stonecutter to see his reaction to what Ryan's doing?
He's amused currently.
Okay. Oh man.
Well, I guess the next step would be trying to grab that ruby. I know it sounds like so obvious, but what are you gonna do, Ryan?
All right. Hesper, I want to try something.
Okay.
I have 10 feet of string in my pockets.
Okay.
I would like to kind of do a flossing thing where hold on, there's like a gnat. Got it. Okay. I'd like to do kind of a flossing thing where I try to get the string in between the ruby and the one of the prongs to see if I can like break the connection and see if anything happens with that.
Okay. Not too hard to do is you wrap the string around and standing about as far back as you can as you try running the string up. Eventually, the string pops underneath the ruby and back up the other side of the arm. Doesn't seem to be a problem.
Okay. I'd like to man.
Do you have a water skin on you?
I do.
Why don't you just place... Oh, I don't know if the water skin is heavier than the ruby.
Probably not if it's the size of my head.
Alright, why don't you like try to do the switcheroo? Like put your water skin where the pedestal on the pedestal as you grab the ruby.
I have one more thing I want to try.
Okay.
With my I don't know, my tonfa Hesper, could I try possibly applying some pressure to one of the, I guess, the prong that I'm working on here? See if I can like move it, see if it moves in any direction, see if it's trapped in that way.
Okay.
I want to discern if this is some kind of mechanism.
Okay. Let's see here. Roll me a strength check. 10. Okay. You get your tonfa, kind of push it on one end of it, and you start, scooting it and applying pressure and such. And at one point, you kind of put a little bit of pressure that you notice that you're starting to lift it up, and you kind of let go of the pressure and let it like settle back down. Nothing has happened.
Okay. But it definitely kind of feels like a mechanism then if it's like moving up and down a bit.
From what you just did, the gold part that you were just touching is not attached.
But the
to
prong
the-
didn't move.
No, the prongs did move. He like rotated it. Like,
not attached to... Okay, hold on. Clarification. Not attached to Ruby or not attached to the pedestal?
the gold part is not attached to the pedestal.
Okay. Man, it kind of just feels like no matter what I'm doing, I'm taking a stab in the dark. I'm wondering if between the gold filigree and the gold prongs and stuff like that, if this is some kind of like electrical current puzzle. Did I, in doing what I did I lift the prong thing off of the pedestal, basically? Did I like sever that connection? Oh my god, is my Discord doing the damn thing again? Hi.
Hi. So you like I said, with you pushed it. It lifted off a little bit from the pedestal. You let it back down. It went back down on the pedestal. Um, you don't think that there's any kind of electrical current running through this or anything?
Yeah.
But what I guess my question is, you said that there's little slits in the room, but they have to be big enough to make the room look red if they're reflecting off the ruby, no?
No, the red light's coming from the slits. They're not lights shining on the ruby and making it red. It's red lights coming in through those slits.
Oh.
Okay, I'd like to head over to the walls where some of the slits are.
Uh-huh.
What happens if I try to cover up one of the lights?
Okay, it's not that let's see here. I'm trying to think here. Because I mean
Because it kind of reminds me of that first room, you know?
they're kind of about 10 feet up, and like I said, the red lights have just been illuminating this whole room this whole time. So you've been standing in the light, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
So no, you
Or-
haven't been.
Can I, like, look through them in some way? I guess I need to get up on something.
Well, looking back and looking towards the red light, roll me a perception check.
Okay. Jesus, man.
11. Looking back and looking, you can barely kind of see it, but it looks like it might be some kind of magical gem that's giving off these lights.
A
Kinda
magical
hard
gem
to-
that's outside the room.
I mean, it's like the slits are actually more like indents. So these like little light giving gems are kind of in these little indents. Yeah, it's like recessed lighting, basically.
Okay. And just to be clear, I wasn't actually, like... There's no door in here. I wasn't given an objective. So the thoughts crossed my mind that also maybe I don't need to take the ruby.
Well, you don't see any way out of here now.
Yeah.
It's basically you and this pedestal with a ruby on it. And seems to be quite pleased with himself, Stonecutter.
Well, the goal wasn't it a gauntlet, not a ruby though?
A gauntlet, like as in a series of trials, not a gauntlet like a glove.
I thought it was both.
Some Thanos shit.
A gauntlet to get to
A
a
gauntlet with a ruby in it, yeah.
Yep.
Like Thanos.
I'm not giving you the Infinity Gauntlet.
Hesper, I pick up the ruby and the mechanism underneath the prongs or whatever.
Well, okay, so you go ahead and pick up the ruby, and as you pick it up and look at it, you hear stone sliding as you watch the prongs that this was sitting on start lifting up. As you look around trying to figure out what's going on, you notice on the other side of where you entered, um, stone rises and moves out of the way, revealing an exit from this hellhole that you've been through. As the stonecutter seems to be up there chuckling to himself, and he turns towards you four that are up there. He's like, "I always love that at the end. I like to enjoy and see how long they overthink this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gives me a bit of joy watching this."
It
He
didn't feel like there was anything else to do.
as he turns and starts walking back towards the main chamber where everybody else started going.
As we follow him, I'm gonna turn over to Ryan and give him this look of like sympathy.
You aren't. You would have to wait until you get out to the main chamber. Ryan has
okay.
to go through like a different hallway
Oh,
that he follows out that eventually leads back into the main chamber. As
okay.
everybody seems to be waiting for you out there. As you look about, people seem to be exchanging bets that they've made, and yeah,
Okay,
is
well.
you're standing there with this giant ruby, the stonecutter.
I feel like
Basically,
I'm just a little overwhelmed right now.
the stonecutter basically standing in front of you, saying, he looks at you and says, you know, well, that was a rough but decent show. Um, Now, if you don't mind, for the next person who runs through, I'll need that back. As he kind of opens up his hand and waits for you to place the ruby within it.
No, mine. Just kidding. I don't say any of that. I give it to him.
Okay. Um, he goes ahead and takes the ruby and seems to hand it to one of the guards. As they seem to be going somewhere to either go place it back in its pedestal or something to do with it, and motions for you to follow him back to his, basically the main chamber that you first met him in.
Yeah, I'll follow him.
Um,
As we
uh,
walk over there, can I give Ryan one of my potions of greater healing?
well, you kind of have a feeling after an ordeal like that, there might be, something. You know, you kind of have a feeling that he's probably prepared for this kind of crap to happen in the first place if he made it.
Okay.
Sister, if I'm to seduce anyone ever again, I'm gonna need my disguise kit.
Just because he's just like burnt red and all these.
Yeah. I
Oh my
have to imagine after taking like 50 points of fire damage, like I'm just like scarred. Like
Yeah. You have some pretty decent like burn scars on you. The cool breeze kind of hurts a bit as you're
yeah.
walking around, stinging you, reminding you of these issues. As you guys make your way back to the stonecutter's chamber, as he sits back down upon his throne, uh, claps his hands a couple of times. As a couple of the maidens seem to be coming out with one of them holding onto a jug of some sort, and another one holding aloft like this platinum platter that has different like looks like wraps and gauzes and such. As they motion for you to sit down, Ryan, as they seem to be willing to work upon your injuries.
Oh, I am happy to be pampered right now.
You will go ahead throughout this as they apply this ointment and wrap you. I mean, it takes them probably about, in total, probably about a good 30 minutes. You're going to get back half of your maximum hit points.
Okay, I gotta.
Um, as you feel this cooling mixture on your body. You notice that the redness from being burnt is going away. The scars either completely going away or becoming very minimal. About the only thing that's left is probably the bits of hair on your head that got singed, and a couple of bald spots on your body where there might have been hair at one point, and it no longer has hair.
Oh no, I waxed all that.
Oh, okay. Well, then no worries there. But parts of your hair have been pretty badly singed, and
Okay.
doesn't seem to fix that.
Okay.
Could go for a nice barber trim at some point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the stonecutter, like I said, he's sitting up on his throne, and he goes, "As I stated, that was a very interesting show. Sorry about that bit there at the end, but somebody who manages to make it through my gauntlet, I gotta have a little bit of fun playing with them."
Yeah. Look, I hear you. And what this test has shown me is I might lean too heavily on my magic.
We don't really use magic all that much, honestly, to tell you the truth here. Anywho, with you guys describing yourself as more magical people, I was hoping more you would lean towards the other challenges. That's why I gave you as many chances to get out of this, but seems like you managed to make it out in one piece where most of would have failed and would have, well, perished under worse circumstances. I think your companions here might have been mournful and a bit. Oh, how do I put this? Well, so, sorely lacking in certain departments. Should you have perished, but you didn't. That's behind us now.
I glance over at my brother, who probably noticeably has dollar bills sticking haphazardly out of his pockets.
Oh, unless he put them away, he's probably sitting there playing with platinum. He doesn't get the option to see platinum very often.
Yeah.
Just holding it up. Clink, 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 clink. Clink, 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 clink.
Anywho,
Speaking of magic, I kind of try to get his attention. Could we have our collars taken off?
as he kind of lets out a bit of a sigh, he goes, "You did prove yourselves to clear my thief's gauntlet, but it was very narrow. Your champion, as I should put it. I feel like almost
I
had one
puff out
foot
my
in the
chest and then cough a little bit.
almost had one foot in the grave very often in there.
Well, I mean, you did
Um,
warn us, but
Hey,
True,
we're willing to risk our lives to complete a mission.
that's true, but at the same time, most of the ones who run through my gauntlet that I actually accept into the stonecutters put on miraculous displays of, granted, very, very few even complete it in the first place. I think within the past 20 years, you've been the first to complete it.
all the more reason for you to remove our collars. We actually completed it.
Yes, but as I stated, I would be removing it if I had you joining the stonecutters. But I feel you need a bit longer to develop your skills. So I will not be permitting you to join the stonecutters, but I will be permitting you to have access to the third level of our fine establishment. And maybe sometime in the future, if you wish to try again of joining our establishment, I might have to think of a new challenge for you. Maybe something with more real world applications.
Hmm.
But as it stands, I believe this is the best decision for both us and yourselves.
I'm gonna try to hide my disappointment because it seems like he was a man of his word and now he like took it back.
I again, I feel like Ryan just kind of saying nothing after his ordeal. He's definitely like a little upset, but like at the same time, like he's been through a lot, like physically and emotionally. So I think he's just willing to take whatever at this point. But it's definitely a little bit of like, what did I just do all that for?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did get access to the third level of this place, which is the previous level.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
did say he would consider taking. He said that okay, if we pass it, then he'll consider taking them off. And now he's like, no, I'm not going to take them off.
Well, he said he'd take them off if you joined the Stonecutters, but as I stated, performance, according to him, wasn't quite up to standard.
Oh well, but we need to go back and check on our tunnel anyway. So
Yeah, this might be better for us anyway because like I'm sure joining the Stonecutters comes with its own set of responsibilities and things
Yeah.
like that. Like we're probably better off just having access to the places we have access now. So we can freely move through this building now, is what he's telling us. Does he give us anything?
yeah, what's our credentials?
Well, it takes a while, but you know, he seems to be sitting there waiting, and eventually a very old dwarf comes in, very long, very white beard, completely bald on the top of his head. Um Tattoos running about his body that look like runes.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Right. As he walks up towards you guys and he goes, well, in order for you to be able to get to the third floor, I will have to give you your credentials. And generally, those who we deem worthy enough to be considered fellow patrons of our establishment and deeds of certain um oh, how do I put this? Shadier activities. I will grant, as I said, these markings to denote that where you belong in our fine establishment. And in order to do that, you
He
will
brings
have
out a cattle prod.
not quite. You'll have to give Torin here an object that you value, not anything big. Something that you can keep fairly well concealed.
An object that we value that's concealed.
I think I have a necklace with my god symbol on it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can my spyglass work or no?
That's totally up to you.
Yeah, I'll give him my spyglass.
Okay. As you turn around and you hand over your spyglass over to Torin. He grabs a hold of it, looks at, places his other hand over the top of it, and closes his eyes. As he closes his eyes and sits there for a while, the runes on his body all of a sudden start illuminating with a pale blue glow. And after a short while, he removes his hand from this spyglass that you handed him, and he hands it back to you. Upon it now is carved a insignia. You're assuming that will allow you up onto the third floor.
Okay. I take it back gingerly and thank him.
As he does that, the stonecutter basically remarks to you guys that basically through what we do, we generally like to place our credentials on objects that people hold close to them. That way, not really two credentials look the same. Makes them a bit unique and hard to duplicate.
Hmm. Do we each get our own? Or
Yeah,
okay.
he's this Torin guy is standing there waiting for the rest of you. I'll have to ask Bubba later what he does.
So, my thieves' tools. What exactly all is included in there? Would you say that there's one that is there a tool that's like somewhat like large enough to hold an insignia? Probably. Because a lot of stuff that I feel like Ryan finds like valuable is stuff that he like wears out in the open anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing he doesn't do is go around flashing his thieves' tools everywhere. So that's something that's like hidden for him.
Yeah, and looking at this insignia, being able to distinguish it easily, you kind of feel like a lot of the thieves' tools are like thin picks and stuff. So like
What
on the
about a pen
individual,
under my forgery kit?
I would say probably like
Wait,
one
I
like.
have a better idea.
Hmm?
How about like a face powder thing out of my disguise kit, like for applying like blush or something,
He can
like
probably do
on the
something with
top of
that.
that where you like palm it.
Yeah, he can probably do something about that.
Yeah,
As you hand that over to him, and he basically creates that into your credentials.
sweet.
I need Lani and Feugy.
Man, I
I'm
do
gonna go.
not have things. I got a crowbar.
Yeah,
I got a sword.
yeah. Like a lot of my belongings are basically tied up in clothes and swords, which are like out in the open more or less to me.
I'm
Okay.
gonna give him my god symbol, my
Okay.
little amulet.
Okay. As you do that, once again, he places your credentials upon this and hands it back. It seems to be on the backside of your holy symbol. Looking at his face, he wasn't too happy when you handed him the holy symbol, but he did it anyways.
Yeah,
I forget
it's.
they don't like gods here.
Well, also I was gonna say like a little like telltale game prompt appears. It's just like your god will remember this.
Yeah.
Well, it might be something along those lines. It might be something along the lines of certain beliefs and such. Anyways, like I said, he hands it back to you with the credentials. So if you don't, you're like, I have no idea what I want for
Uh,
credentials.
it's just a symbol that's getting put on it, right?
Yeah, it's just something that gets put on it. Yeah.
Okay, I take off my shirt and I give a good, I flex and I point to my bicep.
Hell yeah!
He kind of looks at you, kind of shakes his head, walks up to you, and places his hand on your head and closes his eyes for a little bit. You feel your eyes roll back in the back of your head for a second, and after a while, it to you it seems like hours passed. Remy, everybody else kind of feels like only just a few seconds. As you open your eyes, you're like, "Dear God, what happened?" And you look as he turns around his hand, and in his hand seems to be a bear figure carved out of stone and carved with the insignia on its back. As he opens his palm and shows you this,
Ooh, thank you.
he just kind of makes a nod. I'll have to figure out later what Bubba wants to do, and let's see here. What else was there? Yeah, I think that just about does it here at the Stonecutters.
Since it's approaching late o'clock, do we want to just like call it?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
this a
like I
good?
said,
This a good
yeah,
spot?
I would probably say I'd probably have you guys go down to the third floor. I'll talk to Bubba later about what he wants to carve his insignia in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Um,
I went to bed, about 15 minutes ago.
shit, I'm sorry, Piggy. We just kind of got stuck in this gauntlet of
Well,
Aster.
there wasn't a good spot, and I didn't want to leave early on that one.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, if you guys have nothing else that you need to talk to the stonecutter about or anything like that,
Mm,
we'll have you guys go ahead and head back down to the third floor as you're let out, and we'll pick up on you guys being up there on the third floor.
mm-hmm.
So anything you want to bring up to the stonecutter while you're here?
I don't know.
Do we want to ask him about any of the things we need to find?
I think Ryan's going to hand the piece of paper to Raine or somebody, and is just going to be like, "You do the talking. I'm so fucking exhausted."
Oh, okay. I'll kind of gently grab the note from my brother and then walk over to Stonecutter and kind of explain. We're actually in the process of trying to find a cure for the disease that's afflicting your town, and we were tasked to find these objects, and we are still having trouble finding a couple of the items. If you want to look at this, we've gotten the starlight mushrooms, but we're missing the other ones. And I'm just going to point to them so he can read them.
Um, as you're holding out the sheet of paper, he doesn't really reach out to grab the sheet of paper from you. Um, After sitting there for a while, waiting, didn't know if you're going to read the sheet of paper or anything like that. He motions for one of the guards that's standing nearby him to walk up, and the guard takes the sheet of paper, walks up to the stonecutter, like basically gets down on one knee, bows down, and presents the piece of paper up to him like the guard is like some kind of podium.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "All right, let's see here. Well, I mean, Dunreen Springwater, that's in the mines, obviously. Too bad that tunnel collapsed. That would have been easier to get to than going through and worrying about the guards. Sometimes they like to get in certain affairs. Uh, I would say, unfortunately, though, you'll have to go up to the main town and go that way to get into the mines. Unless for some odd reason that tunnel gets cleared. I mean, it would be nice to being able to go that way, but also at the same time, it's also nice not having to worry about stray miners coming down this way and discovering our abode.
I just kind of nod. Any thoughts on the other two?
Well, Frostweave Spider Silk, if you've talked to anybody above, will probably tell you the same thing. Probably best to get that from the farm that have them on the outskirts of town. If you're looking for the raw material, which this list kind of looks like it's implying, outside of that, not much help. I mean, if it was normal, you might be able to hold up a farmer bringing their goods into town, but sometimes that brings unwanted attention. Better than take what they don't know is missing rather than take what they know that they have. And let's see here. The last bit is the Thasmarian salts. Well, I know that there was a Thasmarian merchant here in town. And I know from my sources that they said that it was moved to the docks. I don't know any more about other than going to look at the docks. I've not heard from my man who deals with those with the courts and what's going on within those for a couple of days at least. But granted, I don't have him contacting me every day, letting me know what's going on, just when major activities could be going on. And then if anything minor like that happens to come up in our conversation, then it comes up.
Okay, I kind of nod sagely and I'm like, all right, much appreciated. We'll be getting that list back, and if it's possible, could we rest a little bit before we head out to try to seek these items out?
Well, I'm sure you'd be able to find lodging in the third floor. If you don't have lodging in the main part of the town.
Okay.
As I stated before, you're definitely not from around here. But yeah, I would say if you manage, yes, I'll do that. I think that would work for the best. You just have to go down to the third floor and talk to Nina Tack. She should Nina Tack.
Okay.
Nennetach.
Okay.
I'll have a correspondence go down there and inform them, because of your entertainment that you provided, that you'll have free room tonight
Thank
and
you.
a free meal.
You are very generous.
Thank you, sir.
But other than that, like I said, if once you possibly develop your skills a little bit more, you might find your place in the stonecutters here. I would suggest though that if you wanted to have those colors more permanently removed, possibly one of the thief guilds on the or groups I should say, not so much guilds, might be able to take you under their wings and vouch for you. In which case, they might be able to have your collars removed. Other than that, you'll just have to make a trustworthy name of yourself that you won't bring, as I stated before, our fine establishment down upon us.
If we were to find a way to clear that tunnel that you mentioned that collapsed, would that make you reconsider?
As I stated, that tunnel is nice to have occasionally, but also at the same time, it's nice that it's blocked because we don't have to worry about keeping others from finding our establishment. So basically, what you're understanding from him is if it's good that it opens, but it's bad that he would have to turn resources to keep people away from the black market.
Mm. Okay. Well, anything else? I think we're ready to be dismissed.
Right? As the one guard, as you're finishing up talking, has stood up and handed you back the sheet of paper. He makes a motion for you to, go ahead and, go on your way. And see here, give me a quick second here. He motions for you to go ahead and go. He basically essentially tells you, um, you know, uh, may the lady find you good fortune in your, path forwards.
Gonna reciprocate that, and may the lady help you as well.
He kind of gives you a nod as, if anybody's kind of wondering about that, you could possibly roll a religion check if you wanted to.
-1 of religion. Ah, fuck it.
It almost rolled to a
Yeah.
20.
It lingered on it. No idea,
Sounds
right?
like something possibly religious to you. You're not much of one in religion. Raine, not really. Oddly, Remy.
Well, he's a dwarf, so it must be some dwarven lady.
No, it's not a dwarven lady. It's a general goddess. Avandria, also known as the goddess of change and good fortune, generally worshipped by those who, generally,
Have lots of change and good fortune.
well, I mean, like the chaos of change and hoping for good fortune, such as you know, uh, you know, gold
Sorry.
and such finding its way to you. Um, Generally is a deity that is more celebrated by like thieves, bards, and oddly merchants.
Hmm. See. Okay.
And from what you've heard about town and stuff like that, not really a god that's celebrated here in Dunreen, if I remember right.
But is it celebrated in our town?
Avandria is definitely a known name in Feldnats.
So he knew that we potentially. Well, then again, he knows we're out of town. He may not know where we're actually from.
Yeah, he doesn't know exactly from where you're from. You didn't speak in any weird dialects or anything, or make mention of any names or anything like that. So, which could have been a good thing that you didn't do.
Yeah.
Oops, I drew another square. And to delete squares. There we go.
All right. Well, I think I'm kind of getting a little sleepy, so
You guys are led out of the stonecutters. People seem to be looking at you in more of a positive light, but not really of a look of like brotherly and sisterly bonds.
yeah, we still need time for that.
Yeah, just looking at you like you've proven yourself definitely worthy of their respect and acknowledgement.
Like
As opposed to,
begrudgingly.
well, some of them are a little butthurt because they lost money, yes,
Oh, okay.
but they're not like angry with you. Just
Oh, okay.
like, damn it, I lost money on something. I wish I would have made money.
I mean, if I'm
instead.
the first person who made it through in 20 years, that's a pretty sure bet. A lot of people probably lost some fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you heard that one older dwarf who was a little bit more brash and willing to take Remy up on the 500, and then willing to double it to 1,000. So yeah, definitely. And as you were able to kind of tell from getting through that, yeah, 20 years seems like a good amount of time, for somebody to figure get through that unscathed. As you guys are then escorted out of here and led back down to the next floor on the third level, looking out and about, deciding on your next course of action on what you guys would like to do. Um, and as I said, we'll go ahead and pick it up there for Sunday. I know you won't be here, Feugy, so what would you like me to have your character do on Sunday?
I can't think of any reason to get away from the group.
That's true, but also
Dude,
at the same time,
you should take your new $1,000 and go to like some casino or something.
Or
Ooh,
he should go.
brothel.
No, he should go find some mason tools.
Yeah, while I'm down here in the black market, there has to be
yeah,
And get us a grappling hook, please.
and a grappling hook. And then
You know what?
someone's gotta be selling grappling hooks down here.
Yeah.
You know what, Remy? As you kind of get down here and stuff, you're like, God, I know I handed back Ryan his clothes. As Ryan's like trying to put on his clothes, you're like, God, did things feel weird in my pack? As you turn around your pack and you're scrummaging through there, um, R just kind of seems to be in there and just kind of just starts stretching. And she kind of looks at you and she's like, "Oh, what's up?" And for some odd reason, in one hand seems to be a set of mason's tools, and in another hand, um, some like I guess 4 grappling hooks,
Oh, cool. Santa Claus came to town.
and like
Yeah.
laying on her like across her lap seems to be a set of dark blue, tight fitting Rhiennes clothing.
Hey!
Hey.
Wait, on whose lap?
Ours. And she's kind of sitting in Remy's
The
back.
sloth?
The sloth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm playing fancy character for her.
Sorry, I thought you were saying, and I was really confused. I was like, wait, us, the viewers of this? The players?
No, R.
Yeah, I know, I figured it out.
The letter R, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought you were saying that.
Yeah.
I give R a pat on the head and a thank you.
Mhm.
So I'll go ahead and add grappling tools there. Grappling tools?
Yeah, got
Is
it.
that like
Got
a
it in
fucking
one.
grappling gun?
Grappling tools and a mason hook.
But I'll go ahead and add that to everybody's inventories. Feugy, you added the 1,000 platinum or the 100 platinum, right? God,
Yep.
I'm getting tired. Oh yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Fuck. Sorry.
But I'm guessing everybody else is probably leaving the bar next session, so I'll probably just stay up in the third floor and just listen, see what hot goss I can.
Okay, so you just all right. I'll just have you kind of hang out on the third floor. Then it depends on them because there was something that they're looking for, and last time they saw it, it was on the third floor.
Mhm.
I know.
If they stay, I'll go check on the tunnel.
Okay, so if they decide to stay, you're checking on the tunnel. If they go, you're just gonna hang up on the third floor or hang
Yep.
out on the floor.
Mhm.
see if I can listen to any gossip or anything.
Okay. I might have to think of some gossip or something to figure it out.
I gotta get to bed, so night, guys.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Yeah.
I am stressed out from that ordeal. Like I'm still feeling it, man. Like I was getting like chills, like I'm gonna die, you know, all that stuff. So I can only imagine what my character's feeling. That's why I just had him like stay quiet. He's going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling like whatever I'm feeling as the player is like fucking amplified for somebody who's actually doing the thing.
Yeah, and I was sitting here, I was like, "Oh God, Aster's gonna do it." I mean, certain things I understand, yeah, but at the same time, I'm like, "Oh man, the Aster himself," and I'm just like, "Oh boy," because I know how you can get sometimes, Aster, and I'm just like, "Oh damn."
Wait a minute.
Challenge.
God, that third room, like, oh man. I think what it is Hesper, you have a hard time describing spinning object.
It could be.
Yeah.
It's all converged on that point for me. Anything that spins, Hesper is not allowed near it.
Yeah, I think just for future reference for those specific ones that there's like multiple steps or multiple things going on at once, having the visuals that you ended up drawing helped because it's like to get our bearings to try to figure out how to tackle it. Because once you put the visuals, it was like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah. And the other thing, of course, is like I kept rolling natural ones and like really low numbers for investigation, so like I wasn't getting anywhere with that. So it's like okay, just this got a whirling thing in front of me. I don't even know what shape the room is. You know, I just took it as Ryan is really fucking tired already.
Yeah, he's all burned and crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could also be used in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will tell you this, since you guys have made it through, there was another way to beat that final room other than picking the lock.
Was it to break the
If you broke the
I thought
hourglass
about
from the bottom,
I thought about breaking the hourglass from the bottom so the sand just
Me
keeps falling or
too.
whatever. I thought of that.
if you would have broken the hourglass, then the whole puzzle would have been solved in one
step.
I actually want to know about the second room. Was it really just supposed to be just acrobatics?
Pretty much. You were supposed to check, and I thought you would check more on the eyes rather than going directly towards the red one, and you would have found out that green, blue, yellow, and black in that order had longer and longer, more producing amounts of flames.
Okay.
You managed to roll 2 greens, which were the lowest amount of dealing damage on the flames.
That's good.
Yeah, you didn't get...
I'm like internally screaming right now because like the 2 greens almost killed me.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was meant to be
deadly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna log off for now. I want to start fixing my sleeping habits because I start working next week. So, okay, I'll see you guys on Sunday. I had fun though.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad I remembered the bardic inspirations near like the middle of it. So,
He tried to use the bardic inspirations for the
I will go on record and say that I wouldn't call what I just went through fun, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah. And you still have 1 bardic inspiration on you still, so save that on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, bardic inspirations only last 10 minutes.
Oh, never mind then. Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Good night, guys. Bye.
You know what? I will state this too for you. Yeah, I'm gonna do those. So, Ryan, I'm gonna give you an inspiration.
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead and hand over an inspiration to Raine as well.
Oh, thank you.
So basically, that's a reroll on a 20.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna make the change on our thingy?
I already did.
Yeah, I watched him do it on mine. So
Cool. All right. Good night.
Yeah, you should see a little swirly dragon head on your
Yeah.
character sheet.
I see it. All right. Thank you.
Good
Bye.
night.
You know what? I'm gonna. Yeah. Well, see, I have a harder time giving it to Remy and Roux, but I think I probably should. You know what I mean?
Well, okay. Remy made a lot of gold. I feel like that's his prize.
That's his reward.
And I'm sorry, Lani, if you hear this later, but I don't think she did anything.
I think she said, a couple of times, I can cast this, and then realized she doesn't have any magic, and it just sat there at that point.
Yeah. That this whole like underground adventure hasn't been very kind to Lani, and that's a shame. Because like even more so than me, she completely leans on her magic. She is like nothing else.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I'm kind of halvesies.
yeah. And it depends on how things went and stuff like that. And this is just the way that the story started leading was that you guys got picked up by one of the people, the stonecutters,
Yeah.
because you guys were having such a hard time getting up to the third floor. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is happening. And okay, he seems to have taken a shine to Remy, so we'll just go ahead and do that. But yeah, you guys, yeah, basically, if you didn't run the Thieves Gauntlet, there was a test of brawn, test of lies, test of shadows, test of intelligence, and test of subterfuge.
Wow, a lot of those sound like they're more at my alley. But I wanted to impress him, and I got nothing for it. That's a shame.
Yeah, honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, if you would if what happened in the second room where you triggered two of the fire things back to back,
Yeah, that killed my chances pretty bad.
that killed your chances right there. And I think is because you started panicking, especially after you messed up the one roll and then were trying to get your, trying to make a mad dash there at the very end.
Yeah, well, like looking back at my character, I think what because I'm always thinking about like how I'm representing the -1 intelligence, and I think it does come across as like, oh, this isn't going exactly my way, so I'm going to start to panic, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how Ryan's got into all the shit that he's gotten into so far, is like he kind of gets like caught up in the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, Test of Brawn probably would have definitely been right up Remy's aisle, maybe even yours. Basically, there would have been one of three people, and you guys got to choose who to fight. One-on-one fight, obviously.
Yeah.
Um,
If I had access to my Cloud of Darkness, I'd be much happier to take that on, but without it, I'm not so excited about that one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Test of
subterfuge,
lies.
shadows, that's all up my alley.
Yeah. Basically, the test of lies was basically going through. Would be 12 people in the room, and you would have to determine on what they were saying is if they were telling the truth or if they're telling lies, and figure out which one was truthful, and figure out which of the six objects in the room held basically held an object that you were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Test of shadows basically is here's a dummy, and what would happen is the room would go completely dark. Like people with dark vision would have disadvantage on perception checks. So with you being your character, you wouldn't have had any issues with that. And you'd have to follow this dummy and pull bells off of this dummy and not make any sounds. As
Oh,
this dummy
shit.
kind of floated through the air. Yeah.
Would any of these lesser tests have possibly ended with us getting accepted into the Stonecutters?
Depends on how well you guys all did on them in
Because I
general.
would have destroyed that one.
Yeah. Test of intelligence was basically you would be in a chamber, and basically you would have to figure out which of the 8 objects on these 8 different pedestals is the correct object to take. And
Oh, I already know that one would be hell.
And it basically was like a library, and looking around and such, you could find a book that was out of place, and in it would be a riddle that you could solve that would basically give you the answer on which one was the correct object. Other than that, you could check the pedestals and try to see which ones seem to be trapped. And then test the
Hesper,
subject.
man, I love you, but you gotta understand, that one I know would have been a fucking nightmare.
And then last was the test of subterfuge, which basically is you're placed in a chamber with 20 other people, and on a pedestal is a vial of liquid and a note. And basically, the note gives you a name and a description. Not like a describe, but basically lets you know a name. Hopefully, the name would be a good description, and you would have to go about trying to figure out who matches this name, and then essentially give them this poison that was placed in this vial without them noticing it or anybody noticing it.
Shrimpteresting.
Yeah, so it definitely would have been, interesting for everybody to kind of go through that. But then I had the super hard Thief's Gauntlet, which you kind of see now why it was only one person at a time in there.
Yeah.
Wasn't really made for a big group. I mean, could you imagine everybody trying to get past the pendulums in the first section?
Yeah, I just don't feel like there was room enough for all of us in between all those things. Maybe there was.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the way I was looking at it, like, in my head, like, I didn't feel like there was, like, a whole lot of room there.
Yeah. Not to mention, and then you get to the second room, that'd be even worse. Not to mention, let's face it, the most likely outcome is Bubba's character would have died and you would have been pissed. If it was everybody has to take this, if you guys decide to do that.
Yeah. Like, okay. I really like Ryan, but I'm not, like, attached to him. Yeah.
Well, my thing is, Bubba was probably mad because remember the last time that he had a character and he went away and it died?
Oh, yeah!
That's what I was making reference to.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to make sure that if they do decide to take this one, and if it
It's
is
not
deadly
Bubba.
enough for them to die, that Bubba doesn't have to go through it unless he's actually here.
Man, I didn't even think of that. Like, we could have all nominated Dunsen. Then you just, like, play with yourself for an hour.
I think if you would have nominated Dunsen, Dunsen's like, no, I'm not doing that. I have other aspirations I prefer to live for.
Fair.
So me as the DM would probably not allow that, but you can see now why I didn't make it where everybody had to do it.
Yeah. Watch, Bubba comes back and I'm making a new character and he's like, really? Really?
No, Bubba would probably be like, finally, it's not me who's dead. Because I killed 2 of Bubba's characters, let's face it.
Yeah.
I killed his Bubba character, his joke character, and then I killed off his other character.
And I have the honor of killing one of Cados' characters.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, well, let's face it, that one was kind of in a bad situation anyways. You guys were in Strahd's castle. Cados decided she was going to do some other stuff and kind of put her in a bad spot to begin with, so, for her character.
Yeah, and yeah, she was in a bad. We were like mid-fight or something, weren't we? Or we were like up against Arya, and I don't remember.
You guys didn't know what was on the other side of the door. You guys just got done fighting a whole bunch of skeletons. and you guys are like, "Oh, this isn't so bad," or whatever. And then you go into the other room, the next room, and Arya's sitting there at a big giant like bone room and a bone chair across from this big ass bone dining room table, basically. And you guys are like, "Oh fuck, we went the wrong way." Well, no use getting around this. I guess we're fighting Arya now.
Mm-hmm.
Good news is you found a dragon skull.
Also, you told me I almost outlasted her, and that made me feel pretty good.
Yeah, you did. You had some pretty damn good rolls. That you were having better rolls in Curse of Strahd than you're having in Dunreen.
I'm glad you recognize that.
I think maybe you might need to try the superstition of changing dye colors.
You know, I have a friend who might watch this later who gave me a little wooden like birdcage thing, and on the top of it says "bad dice," and you're supposed to close up some bad dice in there when they're bad to you. But it only works with real physical dice.
Oh, so you have a dice prison, basically.
Yeah, for when they've been bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, physical dice are nice. I kind of feel like digital dice can be a little wonky, I guess. Where physical dice have kind of like especially if you get clear ones, you can at least see blemishes in them and why they act weird. Like if they're weighted wrong or something. The digital ones, I kind of feel like are could possibly be a little too procedural, and because of that, you kind of unfortunately get stuck in these really bad timed ruts, basically, where it's like I think a lot of random generators are based on use time to figure out this random number. And unfortunately, for whatever random generator has been programmed for you, it's just been really terrible.
Well, the other plus side of physical dice is it is something you can practice and get good at rolling numbers you want.
Yeah.
It's
Digital
not
ones,
actually random.
yeah, digital ones, they're kind of like, well, the computer hates me today.
Yeah.
But hey, at least you didn't have to make a brand new character.
It was close, man. Got down to, I think, 11?
Well, after the first bout of, I mean, after the two bouts of fire, yeah,
Yeah.
and then you drank your potions,
Yeah.
and yeah, there was basically a set amount of time that you would have had in the room, the third room, to kind of get some stuff, but because you had to drink the two potions, that kind of took up a bit of your time and kind of recovering from the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't have nearly because of that. It kind of offset on your character actually having less time to kind of investigate the room a little bit better.
Yeah. Ugh. I was just ready for like my hand to get chopped off at the wrist or something and just like fucking bleed out my last few points of health.
I mean, it could have happened if you were so close to failing that one dexterity save.
There was that one where like I rolled thieves tools and I was like I before like I even like posted the number in chat, I was like I'm adding the D8. That was funny. Like I was just looking at like the rolling 3D dice. I was like
Mhm.
I choose to roll bardic.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez, what was I gonna say again? Yeah. Basically, the quick thinking of jamming the gears with your sword, though, and I did lower the DC on that because I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, he did do something, so I do that I didn't think about him possibly doing. I
See,
thought,
the way you described it, I thought I had to because I thought it was just like a grid of like interwoven like whirling blades around this thing. So I thought I
Oh.
had to jam something in it.
Oh, so you thought it was like a
Yeah,
lock? Oh.
I thought I was like looking at some kind of like clockwork, like bladed thing, and in the middle
Mm.
was a lock.
Not really so much as there's like different layers and like cylinders with blades that are spinning about and stuff that look like pillars and uh rolling pins, I guess.
Okay.
I guess that's the best way of describing it, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. So, what I thought you were describing in the beginning, I was gonna like draw it, but I might as well just. So, like, I was thinking, like, first of all, I thought it was another hallway because the last two were hallways, and I must have missed that it was like a circular room. And,
Uh
like, you start telling me about like the spinning mechanism that's like shape that's like kind of the size of a door. So I pictured kind of like you know those punching bags that are like on that like sit on the ground
mhm.
and it's like a tank of water and then it's like padding up top. I
Mhm.
was thinking something roughly like that, but like spinning with blades. And then you told me that there was like something like within or you used the word under. And I thought that meant like physically like under where I'm standing, like maybe this thing was on a track and moving uh like up and down
Oh,
the hallway.
I guess I should have said behind the pillar, shouldn't I?
Yeah. So like I was thinking like in the path between me and something holding a keyhole on like the other side of a hallway is this like thing that's like moving back and forth, rotating with blades. Basically is what I thought was going on. And meanwhile there was some kind of like device sticking out. I obviously couldn't tell what it was, but you told me there was like some like metal thing sticking out of the wall on the left side. And I was like, what's that? And then I rolled like a 1 or a 0 or something. I was like, okay. you know. Yeah, I thought like at the end of the hallway was like a keyhole that I was supposed to pick. And the challenge was me getting past this like mechanism that was like whirling and moving up and down the hallway.
Mm, yeah, that would have been too similar to the first challenge, though, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I guess I can see where you were coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, now that I more or less understand what it is, I kind of want to listen back and see if I can get that out of what you said.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad thing somewhat about theater of the mind, and
Yeah,
uh, I was trying to figure all this kind of stuff out, and I was trying to figure a lot of this out today. So
yeah, I hear
I
you.
was I was trying to make sure that I had enough time to get this all figured out because I was sitting there. I was like, okay, Sunday. I think I kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, and we'll just kind of see where they kind of go from there. Um, I wasn't quite sure where you guys were going to go, and if it did turn out to be the challenges and stuff like that, I would have to probably just wing it instead of having it a bit more prepared as I did this time because I mostly spent last time trying to figure out what you guys were going to do with this dwarf who was leading you upstairs, and if you guys didn't listen to the dwarf, what should I do after that? Because I'm like, well, knowing you guys, you're probably not going to listen to the dwarf, so I was figuring out that contingency plan, and I'm like, okay, well, since I got that figured out, I guess I'll go to figure out what would actually happen if they did listen to the dwarf. Anywho, all right. Well, I think I'm gonna go
I'm
ahead and
ending
call it.
the post session podcast
Uh,
here. Thanks for watching.